Builders in Tom Kearney wearing the captain's armband, and Harrison Reed, Andreas Pereira in front of them. Harry Wilson will be on the right, Dan James on the left, behind Carlos Vinicius. And Hull will also make wholesale changes, 8 in all. Matt Ingram in goal. We think a back four of Coyle, Figueiredo, McLaughlin and Elder, Woods and Simons in the centre of the park behind Tufan as the game gets underway long down below us in this main stand. Doherty and Bale the wide men, and Tyler Smith up front, which means that the top scorer Oscar Estupinian, with 11 this season, starts on the bench. We're underway in East Yorkshire. We've got a tremendous view. That's the nice way of saying we are right up in the gods at the MKM Stadium, as it's now known. Fulham will be kicking from right to left as myself and Neil McDonald look at it, and Kazava has his first touch near side the left, works it to halfway, brings in a steady and slow passage of play that finds Reed. Tosin and Diop sharing passes. Tosin will be playing by the looks of it on the left side of that pairing, out to Kazava on the edges of the Fulham attacking third, near side there left, playing in all white against the traditional orange and black vertical stripes of Hull, black shorts and hooped socks. No way through for Bobby De Cordova-Reid, seems to have played in every position going so far this season. There's a hold-up ball is brought under control by Dan James. Near side the Fulham left, he gets a little nudge in the back from Greg Doherty, doesn't put him off though. And now finally the noise starts to pick up, Hull fans making it away to our left. The Fulham fans are also on our left. I'm going to say a couple of hundred there looking in the corner, Neil.
Yeah, that's a good trip considering there's no, well, supposedly no trains.
Well, so, I was told 4 hours journey for most of those of a Fulham persuasion in the press lounge.
That's a good turnout then, good turnout.
Throw in near side the Hull right. Their first meaningful spell in possession. It will be taken by Louis Coyle, one of the youngsters given a go by manager Liam Rossinia. 16th in the Championship they sit. They've won their last 2 games against Birmingham and Wigan. Fulham coming into this one having won all 3 since the restart, seen off Palace, Southampton and Leicester. The ball goes long in the end and it will be soaked up by Rodak, all in blue. He can roll it out towards Reed.
Typical start from the Premiership team, isn't it? Keeping the ball, making Hull adjust the position, going down one side to the other, not really taking a chance on a forward pass at the moment, still sussing the opposition out. Hull keeping the shape and not really pressing, but just adjusting the shape, so both of them just sussing each other out.
Long ball down the line is something for Dan James to chase, and chase it he will, but
I know he's that quick, but he's not. He's got no chance with that.
Far too strongly hit, and so that will be another throw in for Louis Coyle to take. Near side the Hull right, 5 yards from his own corner flag. This is the prime position for stealing a few yards that we often see.
Yes.
And he's going to take a conservative approach, just a couple of steps down the line, and as Hull send this ball into the East Yorkshire sky, we're going to take a quick look at what's going on at Tranmere Sutton. We're going to speak to, in fact we're going to stay here because it's been dropped short back to the goalkeeper, and Hull are through on goal, and it's squirmed wide of the post by Harvey Vale. What an opportunity, completely of Fulham's own making. Bobby De Cordova-Reid got his feet stuck on the ball. It was a simple routine pass back to Rodak from the edge of his penalty area, and it seemed to be a tragedy unfolding in slow motion. Harvey Vale, one-on-one, rolls his shot wide. Massive let-off for Fulham. So without further ado, Tranmere versus Sutton, Ahmed Noor.
Thanks, Cameron. A long memorial service, well observed by both sets of fans, was made before kick-off today. Sutton come here with 5 wins in 7, 4 in 5 in League 2, trying to sneak into that playoff picture. They make they make no adjustments to the side that won last week against Wimbledon, so they stick with the same level of Rose, Goodliff, John, Baldwin, Smith, Bugil, Randall, Eastman, Kizzy, Milsom and Wilson. For Tranmere Rovers, they've had a mixed run of form. Defeat Crewe last week leaves them in a bit of a precarious position in League 2. Doohan's in goal, Dacres Cogley, Bristow, O'Connor, Davies, Murray, Morris, Hemmings, Hawks, Turnbull, and the one change, Nevik, who's injured and only makes the bench, is replaced by Umbongo. 0-0 after 4 minutes.
Thanks, Evan. Nothing to update you on here. No further slip-ups from Fulham. Hull have it in the central defensive region with McLaughlin. Moves it out to Coyle near side there right. There's a shove into the back of Doherty and a free kick given. Referee is Josh Smith today.
That was a big let-off, that, wasn't it? All the possession that Fulham have had to try and suss out Hull. the one time Hull get the ball down, well, not so much get the ball down, they just whack it in the air, which you said. A poor back pass to the goalkeeper, and he should have scored there. That's a big let-off. Fulham should have been 1-0 down after 5 minutes.
Big miss from Harvey Vale. Had the ball presented to him by Bobby De Cordova-Reid. It is De Cordova-Reid that heads away in the right back position that he's playing as a out-and-out utility man. Finds touch on halfway. Hull will have a throw. 5 minutes gone. You're listening to Cameron Pope and Neil MacDonald, not only on BBC Radio London, but on the BBC Sounds app and on the BBC Sport website. The ball is taken out of the sky by Pereira halfway inside the Hull half, and he had a routine looking ball to Dan James on the near side. Fulham left, but could only find touch. Back to the edge of the penalty area for Woods. Chesterfield 0, West Brom 1 is a later score from elsewhere in the FA Cup, as Figueiredo floats the ball forward for Hull City, who is starting to grow into this game. It's only 6 minutes old, not even that. Bournemouth 0, Burnley 1, another latest score. Goals are starting to roll in on third round weekend. Of course, it started last night, Manchester United putting out Everton, and it'll continue all the way into Monday. 4 different kick-off times today. Near side, the Fulham left, Kazava dispossessed by Doherty halfway inside the Hull half. Corner of the area, he scoots it back towards the edge of his 18-yard box, and there might be a chance on to win this ball back. Good battling, but McLaughlin has just about got away from danger. He was put underneath it by Tom Kearney, and the home fans clapped their acknowledgement.
They were all holding their breath there, weren't there? There was 3 Fulham players around him. Took a little bit of deflection off his own ankle, and he got out of trouble there, so just as well. Good pressing from Fulham though.
Well, we've had one instance of that each, haven't we?
Yes.
Defensive slips, and one ended in a chance that Harvey Vale should have put away for Hull's first opportunity of the game, and Marek Rodak didn't have to make a save in eventuality. 0-0, just shy of 7 minutes played here in Hull. The ball in the left back position for the hosts, and Callum Elder floats the ball down the line, and Hull might be in behind. There's defensive tracking back to do. The ball's cut inside Issa Diop, it runs to the corner of the area. Slight groans from the home fans. Coyle shoots, and a good strong save by Rodak. Louis Coyle shooting from the edge of the area. It crept through the defence and down low to his right. Marek Rodak gets a right arm to the ball, touches it behind for a corner.
That was a fantastic save. That he needed to be full stretch, which it was. But that's a first time without a mistake from Fulham that Hull have got in behind, and really good cross. Had plenty of people in the box as well, by the way, and that was a really good save from Rodak. That'll give his confidence a world of good.
Here comes the corner, far side the Hull left, floated in towards the back stick, maybe too strong. Defensive header attempt came in from Kazava, but he missed it. It's brought in under control near side the Hull right. Doherty slams the cross into the body of Kazava. It will be a Hull throw. 0-0. And we've got our first FA Cup goal. Boreham Wood Accrington, Stuart Smith.
Yes, 6 minutes on the clock, and Accrington Stanley have the lead. Ball was played into the penalty area, which Boreham Wood didn't clear first time, didn't clear it the second time either. And up was Ryan Astley, the centre-back from Accrington Stanley, just toe-poked the ball, and it just crept over the line at the far post. So it's Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1.
If you just missed us, those who've dipped out for the Radio London coverage, across from the right from Louis Coyle for Hull into the body of Dan James. There were a few shouts of handball that fell on deaf ears from the home fans, and the ball ricocheting out for a Hull throw in near side there right, down the line towards Simons. And a bump from Tosin coming across towards the corner flag, and a free kick it will be. And so this one in a menacing position. Pascal Gross has scored for Brighton at Middlesbrough. No goals here. That could all change from this free kick.
That was a silly free kick from Tosin, just trying to be too greedy, and this is inviting Hull to put the ball in the box now.
So Ryan Wood standing over it.
The hole in the 6-yard box there, really good line. Two on a pen spot for the knockdown. So first contact, as I keep on saying.
Ryan Wood's free kick, near side the Hull right. One-man wall consisting of Dan James for Fulham. It's a short option that's taken. Corner of the area, Harvey Vale tries a quick 1-2 move with Doherty to get himself into the penalty area. Fulham read it well. It's out for a throw-in.
Fulham will be pleased that didn't put that in there. They just tried something different there, tried to change the angle. Got some really good defending there.
Coyle near side the Hull right. Is it a numbers game in that situation, do you think, Neil? Is it, well, you get a chance your arm a couple of times
obviously,
your routine?
Listen, Fulham have obviously got some big players at the back, haven't they? Certainly the two centre-halves, so Hull probably thinking, ooh, do we actually put that in? They're just going to head that, we'll just try and change the angle. They've still got plenty in there, and I was disappointed really they didn't test Fulham.
They're being a little bit stretched here, Fulham. Long crossfield ball towards Coyle. He's got there ahead of the defender, takes a heavy touch from Kazava. Well, he was beaten to the first ball, but I think he did just enough there with his presence.
That was really good defending. Really good defending. Couldn't get there, as you said, but held his space and then held his line, and Coyle had no chance of crossing that, and they went out for a goal kick. So that was good defending in the end, considering his positioning was really, really good, to be fair to him.
Chesterfield 1, West Brom 1. The way to score. As Fulham edge through the gears from defence. Tosin sharing passes with Kazava. Drops it short into midfield for Harrison Reed. Still well inside their own half, and I dare say it's the home side who've made the greater dent on this game so far. Real chance for Harvey Vale one-on-one when presented the ball by Bobby De Cordova-Reid, but there's a long ball over the top, and now opening up Harry Wilson, far side the Fulham right, running at Elder on the corner of the box, tries on the left foot, bends it towards the back post. Dan James hits the deck. There are ironic jeers from the home fans. That is going to be a goal kick, ball floating straight out at the back post. 11 minutes gone, Hull 0, Fulham 0.
Yeah, first time there, Fulham have got into the final third. That was much better. Play up, play back, in behind, good switch play. And instead of crossing with his right foot, he's come in on his left, tried to cross to the far post, and Dan James just fancied a little dive there, I think. Got a little bit of an arm across him, to be fair to him, but certainly wasn't a penalty.
Matt Ingram takes his goal kick from a central berth, right onto the head of Coyle. A lot's come through him on the near side Hull right. Up towards Tyler Smith, who's held, crossing to the back of the penalty area by Coyle, headed by Bobby De Cordova-Reid, and he's got the right angle on that. He's skittered it away towards the corner flag, and it's just dropped fortuitously to the left of it, and it will be a Hull throw rather than a corner. 0-0, 12 minutes gone, and for the first time, referee moving a throw-in further forward down the field. Goal at Tranmere though, Ahmed Noor.
Sutton have broken the deadlock, but it's the type of goal you don't expect Sutton United to score. It was Alistair Smith who finished it, but it was a flowing move from right to left, which started with Wilson flinging it to Eastman. Eastman found Randu, who played a lovely 1-2 to Bugil, back towards Eastman, and then into the box for Smith to tuck home. It's the sort of goal you'd see in prime Barca score. I promise you, it's worth a look. Sutton lead Tranmere by a goal to 0.
Sutton a la Barcelona. Well, I didn't think I'd be hearing that today. Bournemouth have equalised at home to Burnley. Ryan Christie, we're still at 0-0 here. Hull failed to use that attacking throw into any good merit, but they have it on the edge of the attacking third. Flipped out to the left-hand side, well watched by Fulham, and it goes back to Rodak, who makes a decent fist of his clearance, but does end up picking out McLaughlin just shy of halfway.
Hull are starting to have a little bit more possession now, aren't they? They're sorting to pass it and ask the questions by putting the ball in behind the Fulham defenders, and they're coping with it okay just now.
Figueiredo back to his goalkeeper Ingram, who pumps it long, and there was a momentary option for a chase from Ozan Tufan, but he allows it to bounce through to Marek Rodak. Still goalless. Who will be joining the likes of Manchester United, Southampton, Leicester, Preston North End, Spurs of course, Reading in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Ties from earlier or from last night. We're no nearer to discerning the answer to that one. Only 13.5 minutes gone. Diop on the right-hand side of the centre-back pairing, slipped down the line by Bobby De Cordova-Reid. So Andreas Pereira, right edge of the penalty area, up against McLaughlin, cuts it back for Wilson. Now more central, Tom Kearney thinks about a shot and thinks better of it. It's being put off on the edge of the area by Xavier Simons.
Just trying to move Hull on. Hull are working really hard on the shape, and there's no space there for them at the minute. So it's patient football.
Wilson dances through to Bobby De Cordova-Reid, 30 yards from the Hull corner flag. Harrison Reed now, slightly more central, brings in Tosin, centre circle, stands on it for a moment. Tempo slow, but you get the feeling something might be building for Fulham. Still waiting for their first real chance as that ball is edged forward towards Kearney and out to the right-hand side. Crossing opportunity. Oh, it's behind the front man Vinicius. Brought back towards the corner of the area. Kearney. Possible crossing opportunity for Bobby De Cordova-Reid if he can get it in. It's spurned behind by Hull.
That's better from Fulham. They're running into the space, they're breaking the lines, they're getting in behind now.
Callum Elder with the block, corner kick, right in front of the travelling fans. And the Championship's top scorer, Chuba Akpom, has equalised for Middlesbrough against top flight opposition, 1-1 between Borough and Brighton. Questions remain as to whether he'll be a Borough player from January the 31st.
He's been scoring goals for fun, hasn't he? But the way Middlesbrough are going, they need to keep him. To be fair, they're in the top 8 at the minute, aren't they? So they've done extremely well.
Corner from the right-hand side, whipped towards the front post, headed downwards by Levin Kazava. Hull will scramble it clear. Kearney picks it up on the edge of the penalty area. Quick 1-2 with Pereira, floats it in towards the 18-yard box, but Doherty of Hull was the only man underneath it. And now Hull going through the gears, and they're up to halfway already. Fulham do have men back as Doherty comes forward. He's now halfway inside the Fulham half, slips it down the line looking for Tyler Smith, won't find him. It's well read by Diop, only half clears though. Coyle picks it up, still in the attacking third, shoves off the challenge, and Kazava keeps possession. Simons, 40 yards out, still goalless after 16 minutes here in East Yorkshire. And we're going to go to Millwall versus Sheffield United with Carl Bates.
Well, just over a quarter of an hour gone here at the Den. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 0. It's been the visitors that have been in the ascendancy, really. No team with any clear-cut chances, but Sheffield United having the lion's share of possession at the moment. Just over a quarter of an hour gone, 0-0.
Coyle looking to try and build something for Hull, knocks it back to Simons. They're going to go back into their own half, and so we are going to go back to the capital. Charlton versus Lincoln, Louis Mendes.
Still, Charlton 0, Lincoln 0. Very cagey start to this game. The Addicts did have a half chance, so Sessegnon from outside the area went wide of the far post. Still Charlton 0, Lincoln 0.
How about Leyton Orient versus Doncaster? I think it's Dave Victor we've got there, isn't it? Hello, Dave.
Yes, it remains Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0, but a reorganised defence for the O's, and they've looked resolved at the moment, with Jordan Brown playing alongside Adam Thompson in the heart of a rearguard that has only conceded 13 in the league so far, and so far so good. It's Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0.
Fulham building near side there left. The ball is immediately put out to play by a strong tackle from Greg Doherty. And so Mark Taylor at Fleetwood, have you heard the music yet?
Not yet, it's still 0-0. There's been a chance apiece. Cian Hayes could only stab the ball wide for Fleetwood. Chris Willett has had a goal-bound effort blocked after a lovely QPR move. Fleetwood 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Ball taken well on the turn outside the area by Kazava, and then he curses as he fails in his attempt to bring in Dan James on the corner of the penalty area. Let's go to Crewe versus Wimbledon, Xavi Bird.
Still 0-0 here, Cam. Nothing really to talk about on the field. The crowd are getting very involved with the fact that Batalu Sambu just had a ball cleared into him by Nick Zanev from point blank range, and was conceded a free kick, which has disappointed the Crewe faithful. But other than that, it's still 0-0. Very bitty game here so far.
Thank you all. 18 minutes gone here in East Yorkshire. It's Hull 0, Fulham 0. I used to call it Humberside, and I was told off by my BBC Humberside counterpart. That's not a geographical area, I was told, and so I've done well to avoid that ever so since. And I have to say, this is my first real test. I was here for this exact fixture last year. That was not a Mitrovic show, really, but absent today, as is Willian. 7 changes in all from Marco Silva's side, who got the win over Leicester, their third since the restart. They're coming forward now with Kazava, left edge of the box, crosses towards the back post. It's headed away from Wilson, who is arriving at a rate of knots. Brought down under control.
That was a better
halfway.
cross, wasn't it? Got in behind, really curled it in, and Wilson was coming around the back, but good defending from Hull there, cleared the ball. But here we go, another sustained attack again. It's about 50-50 possession, would you say, Cam, at the minute?
I'm going to find out an exact answer to that. In the meantime, I can tell you that Chesterfield is the place for goals today. It's now 2-1 to West Brom. No such luck here. And ask and you shall receive. Stats 55% possession in favour of Fulham as the cross comes in from Kazava. That hits the shins of Coyle. Goes behind for a Fulham corner.
First corner from the side, isn't it? So
this is the side occupied by Hull fans as well, who've been rather quiet so far. It's not a full packed house by any stretch. It's a cold and breezy day on the banks of the Humber.
Right-footed in-swinger, 2 round the goalkeeper, 3 round the goalkeeper now, and 3 on the pen spot.
Here's Andreas Pereira, right-footed in-swinger towards the goalkeeper. Asked for seen by Neil, but An easy catch in the end for Matt Ingram.
Yeah, you've got to get across the goalkeeper. You've got to pin the goalkeeper to stop him from coming there. It's a decent ball in, but probably a little bit too close to the goalkeeper, but nobody putting pressure on the goalkeeper there.
0-0. Coming up to 20 minutes. Figueiredo in the 18-yard box for the home side. Brings in Elder, left side of the defence. Clearance comes in from McLaughlin up to halfway. Good touch by Smith to bring it into Tufan. Excellent work now to find Vale, far side the whole left. Flicks down the line, that will be watched all the way by Issa Diop, and Tyler Smith, the intended target leading the line for Hull, was some way off it in fact.
Yeah, they're trying to mix it up, aren't they, into feet and into space as well, but obviously got that one wrong. No chance of him getting that. Diop read it well, and here we go again, a little bit of build-up play. That's better, pass and move it.
Andreas Pereira, first time ball, spins it out to Bobby De Cordova-Reid, far side the Fulham right. Back into his central defensive partnership of Tosin and Diop. Here's Tosin now, on halfway, presents it straight to Xavier Simons, and the full debutant for Hull today moves it forward towards Tufan. 1-2, it's back to Simons, and he's got Smith in the centre. He shoots towards the back post, and it's just ahead of Tyler Smith. And the flag was up on the near side. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but once again Fulham stretched. The home side from the Championship really bringing the game to them, and after 21 minutes it remains 0-0.
Yeah, that was a really good chance, and they're getting to the back four quite too easily for my liking. Midfield players have got to try and win that the spoils and the interceptions if they possibly can, but a really good cross right across the face of the goal, and luckily the linesman was bang on there. That was offside. Just missed it at the far post, and the goalkeeper let it go. So, yep, there's a warning signs. Got to make sure that they're nice and tight in midfield, and certainly the defenders have got to get tighter to the men who are making the forward runs at the moment.
Marco Silva, hands in pockets, long below us in his technical area. Liam Rossignol skulking too. Ball to chip forward towards Vinicius, headed down, 18-yard box. Here's Dan James, can't control it. Cleared by Callum Elder. Reid wins the aerial ball and sets up Issa Diop in the centre circle. Here's Tosin.
That was really good. He moved from outside to inside there. Just tried to play it with the outside of his right foot. He had to take a little bit more care. I think Wilson was in the far, and he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper there, so unfortunate. We're still trying to break them down, which is good. Passing and moving.
Bobby De Cordova-Reid, right on halfway, back inside his own half. We're coming up to the halfway point in the first half. 0-0 between Hull and Fulham. You're listening to Cameron Pope and Neil MacDonald on BBC Radio London Sport, and on the BBC Sounds app, and on the BBC Sport website. Reid, that's Harrison Reid in the centre circle. Forward to Kearney. Near side the Fulham left is Dan James. Back to Tosin. No pressure on him. Hull have 11 men behind the ball. Kazava halfway inside the Hull half. The Frenchman playing it in field, but Kearney forced to go back to halfway. Tosin crossfield ball, change of tack, it doesn't come off. Header clear by Hull towards Smith in the centre circle, tries to pick out Tufan. It was read well by Bobby De Cordova-Reid.
He's just asking his two centre-halves to move the ball a little bit quicker. I agree with him as well. Just taking that time, an extra second or a couple of seconds on the ball, pass and move it earlier. Space is there for them to find in between the holes, in between the lines, if they just move it a little bit quicker. Just taking a little bit too much care, that's all it is, but at the same time they're keeping the ball, which is good.
Kazava near side the Fulham left, up against Doherty. Doherty actually pinches it from him momentarily. It's won back by the French fullback, and Kearney can resume Fulham's possession halfway inside the Hull half. Forces himself back to halfway though, up against Simons, who's stood out well so far in his full debut. Still 0-0. Ball at the back now for Fulham. Tosin receiving from Diop, who's 20 yards inside his own half. And a confrontation brewing with Smith, who puts pressure on him, but Rodak the easy option, and he's picked out this time.
They are going from side to side, Cameron. They're keeping the ball really good, to be fair, but they need to change tack into Vinicius up top, and that adjusts Hull's position, and then the space will appear. So they just need a mix. Instead of going down one side, can't come out, go down the other side, can't. So they just got to try and play through the middle to adjust Hull's position, and then the space will appear. Then it's all about the final pass.
Long chip upfield. There are no goals here, but there has been one at the Den. Carl Bates.
There has indeed, and it's a deserved lead for Sheffield United, unfortunately. It was lovely play in the middle of the park that released Jefferson down the right. He took his time, waited for Bart to come out and commit himself, and then slotted it in at the near post. 24 minutes on the clock. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 1.
Strong in the Championship and strong in the FA Cup, it seems. Still goalless here as Coyle picks it up near side the Hull right at the back, finds Simons just beyond the edge of his own penalty area. It will go back to Ingram, the goalkeeper, via Coyle, and Coyle didn't do his goalkeeper any favours, almost fired out for a corner. Ingram did a good job of keeping that ball alive and spearing it up towards halfway. There'll be a free kick to Hull here because Tufan has been clobbered down to ground by Harrison Reid. Seemed to be a stray arm that did the damage. The Hull man is down holding his head and he's hoisted back up onto his feet by Harrison Reid.
That tells me Harrison Reid never touched him then. He went down because he pulled him up with a little bit of anger there, but still good closing down. Hull want to play out from the back, to be fair, so Fulham are trying to set the traps. It's just not working at the moment. Not winning that ball in the final third, and then they can express themselves a little bit.
Ryan Woods is tripped by Andreas Pereira, 10 yards inside his own half. He will take the resulting free kick with his bright red hair. Well, he will when Andreas Pereira allows him. He's been standing on the ball, and the referee quite sagely blows to move him away. In any event, Hull will go back towards Ingram. Vinicius closing down the angles. Ingram sees him coming, chips out to the far side, Hull left. Still 0-0. 26 minutes played. The Tigers have men in the centre. Here comes the cross in towards the 18-yard box. It misses Doherty, been picked up by Coyle. Right edge of the area. Dan James shutting him off from going down the line, so he goes back to Simons. Now Woods. Andreas Pereira moving him back towards halfway. There's applause from the home fans. Far side, the Hull left this ball. Vale, no way through for him. No for Callum Elder. Fulham forcing their Championship hosts back inside their own half. Still goalless. Opting to walk it into the Fulham half is McLaughlin. Takes it steadily over halfway. Quick triangle of passing, but Andreas Pereira keen not to let the ball advance any further, which it has though. It's found Tufan, albeit with his back to goal. He's forced back inside his own half once again. Fulham soaking up the pressure, forcing Hull to go long. Crossfield ball towards Coyle, and again he has to go back to halfway.
That's good closing down, good shape, good distances. Hull can't get through them at the moment, which is excellent. No pressure on the back four whatsoever.
Long lumped ball forward into the path of Coyle, much of the outlet for Hull so far. Near side there right, cuts it in towards Doherty, shoots into the body of the defender and ricochets out to the edge of the penalty area. It's still Doherty, lines up a shot on the left foot and it swings away from the goal of Marek Rodak, and the first shot slammed into the body of Tosin, who's still down holding his midriff.
Right in the midriff there, wasn't it? It's probably taking his breath away just a touch. But I was saying they're not really troubled until Hull play the ball into the space in behind, and that's the only time they've been in trouble, the 2 or 3 times where Hull have got behind. So nice pretty football, nice little triangles, but the ball that's causing Fulham a problem is the ball in behind the centre half and the left back, vice versa on the opposite side, in the right back, the other centre half, and that's where they're causing problems at the moment.
Well, it's interesting that Levin Kazava, he's only played 45 minutes for Fulham this season against Newcastle. You might have thought in other circumstances that blooding him in an FA Cup game might give him a bit of an easier baptism or a rebirth in the side, but he's coming up against the real test. Well,
it should do in effect, but don't forget Hull are in a lower division and they're going to up the game, aren't they? So it'll be a good test for him.
He's been up against Louis Coyle on a number of occasions, and he's it's a real ongoing battle on this near side for Neil to look at. 28.5 minutes gone, still goalless. FA Cup third round on BBC Radio London Sports, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. Defensive ball for Fulham, controlled by Diop, back towards his goalkeeper, who finds Tosin on the edge of the area. Seems to have recovered from copping that Doherty shot into the midriff. Forward to halfway, Vinicius with a quick give and go. In towards Kearney, now trying to find Dan James. Sage tackle by Coyle.
So he can defend as well as go forward, and that was a decent pass, to be fair, for Kearney, using James's pace. Just didn't put it in front, and good defending from Coyle.
Ball through the middle towards Vinicius, ball bobbles away from him. No way through. And on the edge of his penalty area,
just caught one on the edge of his, on his ankle there as well. He's moving all right now.
Well, there are plenty of options for Hull today. They've gone with resting their squad. They were sweating over international clearance for a man you might not expect would need international clearance. Aaron Connolly was on loan from Brighton at Venezia in Serie B, big cult club over in Italy for the first half of the season. And he's now been brought in by Liam Rossini for the rest of this season. They had to make sure that the papers came through in time for this third round match today. They have. So he is one option on the bench. Oscar Estupinian, their top scorer with 11 goals this season, is also in the team today.
That's a good return, that 11 from where they're in the position of the in
16th
the league.
in the championship.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper Ingram with the right foot drops it short towards the edge of the penalty area, allows Figueiredo to clear. Adam Lallana, speaking of Brighton, has just scored for the Seagulls. They lead Middlesbrough by 2-1. Fulham in possession with Kearney just shy of halfway. We've had the half-hour mark, it's still goalless. Bobby De Cordova-Reid, far side the Fulham right, into Harrison Reid. Backwards inside his own half now to Diop. Stands on it with the blue-tinted boots. Now finds the white boots of Tosin, edges towards halfway, sees Tyler Smith coming, moves it towards Dan James, left edge of the penalty area, trying to hit the line, gets the cross in deep towards the back post. Hull have got to defend this, which they do. It comes to the edge of the area, Doherty controls, and chipped away from danger by Coyle. Picked up on the near side Hull right, and given away by Xavier Simon. So Dan James might get a second bite of the cherry. Still goalless, left edge of the penalty area, into the box, it's missed, it's going to fall to Vinicius, he lays it back to Andreas Pereira, dummies, shoots, tipped over the bar by the goalkeeper Ingram. And by far Fulham's best chance, has taken 31 minutes to come. Andreas Pereira saw the defender come in, dropped his shoulder, turned, fired central but powerfully. Matt Ingram turns it over, corner to the Cottagers.
Patient play, yeah, in behind. Dan James has had a couple of good runs, one good cross, and I thought Pierre was going to hit it with his right foot there, but he's checked inside. Hit the target, that's the main thing, that's the first one on target. See if they can score from a corner.
The corner in front of the Fulham fans, far side there right, whip towards the front post, defensive header away. Looked to be Xavier Simons who got it. Picked up on the corner of the area by Ryan Woods. It's chipped long and deep back towards the Fulham half, and so I think we should go elsewhere. Mark Taylor, tell us what's happening.
Fleetwood 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Ilias Chair has been denied a goal by some brilliant defending from Brendan Wiradu, who threw himself in the way of the shot. Rangers getting better. Still Fleetwood 0, QPR 0.
How about Charlton Lincoln? Louis Mendes.
Yeah, 31 minutes gone. It's still Charlton 0, Lincoln 0. Chances at both ends. Great blocks from Innes and Clare in the Charlton defence. At the other end, a wonderful back heel from Leeburn. Set away Razaki. His ball inside was headed just wide by Albie Morgan. Charlton 0, Lincoln 0.
How about the top end of League Two? Dave Victor, Leyton Orient versus Doncaster.
Goalless, and that's because of Jordan Brown, who's been outstanding in the heart of Leyton Orient's reorganised defence. 3 crucial blocks, just one clear-cut chance for the O's, and it came in the 24th minute. George Moncur with his ball at his feet inside the penalty area for a long time, and in the end his shot was charged down by Maxwell. Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0.
33 gone, still goalless here. Andreas Pereira's long crossfield ball towards the corner of the Hull area, headed out of play by Louis Coyle, and so very quickly to Crewe Wimbledon's Avi Bird.
And it's still goalless here, Cam. Crewe are stringing together a few more passes, but there's still nothing clear-cut from them. Josh Davison proving to cause a fair few problems for Conor O'Riordan, who's just back in the Crewe side at centre-back. But other than that, there's no real clear-cut chances so far.
Thanks, Xavi. Still goalless here. We thought we might have something brewing down the left-hand side for Fulham. Kazava into an attacking position, so nothing on in terms of White going forward. So the ball is back where it spent much of its 33.5 minutes so far, on the halfway line in Fulham's possession. Here comes Kazava again. He's got ahead of Doherty. Swings in a left-footed cross. It's missed by the defender. It'll fall at the back post. The shot comes in. Harry Wilson sees it blocked. There was shouts of handball from the away end. Still back with Wilson on the corner of the area. Tries to play in Bobby De Cordova-Reid. It is slammed clear. And Hull can take a breath of relief as the ball comes forward again towards Bobby De Cordova-Reid, swung at and cleared once more. Fulham hitting their stride, 34 gone. Picked up 40 yards out by Kazava, crossfield ball. He's looking for Wilson, he's headed away from him. There's a battle on between Vale and Andreas Pereira. And it's Vale who wins it, pumps it out for a Fulham throw. 34 gone, 0-0.
Starting to probe them now, aren't they? Starting to get in between them, starting to get in behind them. So it's really patient, but really calculated on what they're doing. Certainly more crosses from the left-hand side than what there is from the right-hand side, and a chance at the far post, but good defending, 1v1. But they are getting in behind them and in between them now, which is good.
We haven't been to Prenton Park in a while. Let's have a look at Tranmere versus Sutton. Ahmed, no, still like Barcelona, Ahmed?
Well, not necessarily. Tranmere are attacking at the moment, but Sutton still lead by that goal to nil. Since that goal in the first 10 minutes by Alistair Smith, it's been an end-to-end game. Tranmere have had two really good opportunities. Murray struck from distance, it went wide of the mark. Kieran Morris was even closer, just flashing one past the post from the edge of the 18-yard box. Plenty of fouls, it's been end-to-end. Sutton have had some swift moves, but yet to replicate anything similar to the opening goal. But they're keeping League Two honest at the moment. They're leading after 35 by a goal to nil.
And you just come back to us in East Yorkshire, where Fulham have spurned a glorious chance. It was Kearney coming down the left-hand side who brought the cross in, switched it towards the back post, and it was put over the bar by Andreas Pereira. Not as close as Carlos Vinicius' earlier effort that was tipped onto the roof of the net.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy chance, but a good effort. Just on the half volley there, couldn't get his foot over the ball. But as I said to you before, now they're starting to probe. They're getting in now in the final third, and they're starting to deliver in the final third, and they're getting people in the box in the final third as well.
Fulham attacking again, near side left, cross deep towards the back post from James. It's too heavy for all and sundry in the centre, kept alive by Wilson. Bobby Decord over Reed on the right hand side of the box. There are options in white in the centre. Vinicius calling for it. It's going to go the long way around though, back towards Harrison Reed. He's a good 40 yards out, then it goes further out towards the central defensive pairing of Diop and Tosin. Hull only too happy to put the pressure on with two fans. Still 0-0, 36 minutes gone. Through the middle towards Vinicius, 45 yards out. Moving through the gears, Kearney thinks about a shot, then he scoops it out to the right hand side of the penalty area. He's found Wilson, turns onto his left foot, shoots from distance, almost held by the goalkeeper. It's put into the back of the net by Levin Kazava, and the flag has stayed down. It's going to be a first goal for the club. But Levin Kazava, only his second appearance, such a long time out of the team. He reacted first. He bundled it in off the post. It won't be the prettiest goal the Frenchman scored in his career, but they all count, and it's given his side the lead in East Yorkshire. 37 minutes gone, Hull 0, Fulham 1.
And the goal was coming, wasn't it? They're getting down the wings, and they're crossing the ball really, really well. And that's what you get when you're on the move, whether you're a left back or whether you're playing left midfield or up front. Being on the move inside the box, bent it around, goalkeeper made a great save, and it was a tap in off the post, but fantastic little finish that, and well deserved after the 5 or 10 minutes of probing and getting in behind. So well deserved. 1-0.
Well, we waited 37 minutes for it. We have our goal, and there's one at the Valley too. Charlton versus Lincoln, Louis Mendes.
Yeah, and Charlton leads by a goal to nil. It's Scott Fraser with his 5th goal of the season and his 2nd in successive games. Superb cross on the right-hand side from Miles Leeburn. Fraser powered the header towards goal. Rochworth got a hand onto it, onto the crossbar, but it drifted over the line. Charlton 1, Lincoln 0.
And I've got a bad feeling about this. Another goal at the Den, Carl Bates.
There is indeed. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. It's Jayden Bogle with a deflected goal. It was good work down the wing by Njai. He pulled the ball back to Bogle, edge of the penalty area, took the shot on. Saville at full stretch got a touch to it, and it looped over Barton into the back of the net. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2.
Throw in to Hull City on halfway. Fulham leading by Levin Kazava, goal to nil. The home side who've made a good account of themselves so far, against a side ranked 29 places above them. We'll go down the line towards the attacking figure of Smith, who the home fans think was held by Diop on the corner of the area, the home fans and me, but was let go by the referee. Hull have possession, albeit deep inside their own half with Figueiredo. Into Xavier Simons, and have we seen a permanent position swap here? Has Xavier Simons dropped back towards a permanent centre-back role, do we think? He was certainly playing further up towards halfway, almost midfield role, and he seems to be spending more and more time paired up with Figueiredo at the back.
Yeah, I think you're going to get rotation, aren't you? And if you're under pressure a little bit, then you sometimes drop back. If you're on the front foot, then you push forward as well. So let's have a look at that over the next 5 minutes.
Ryan Woods on halfway for Hull, crossfield up towards Louis Coyle, corner of the area, picks out Doherty, back to Coyle, whips it towards the back post. This could be danger. Bobby Decord over Reed's underneath it. We'll go to Stuart at Borehamwood in just a moment. Defending to do here for Fulham, who lead by a goal to nil. It's picked up on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Cut back across the face of goal. Kazava plunges Fulham straight back into danger. He's given it to the Tangerine shirts. They come forward again. The block comes in from Harry Wilson. It's a corner to Hull. We will go to Stewart and Boreham Wood in just a moment. We're going to see how this one pans out. The home side have been dormant, having started well. They trail.
Yeah, just switched off a little bit, haven't they? Just switched off, thinking, oh, well, we scored the first goal. Just switched off. They need to concentrate. Need to defend better.
Here comes the corner, far side, the Hull left, headed clear by Diop, who takes a whack as he rises above everybody else. And
nice and brave, but he got smashed there. But that was better defending. Yeah, Bobby Cordova at the far post really well, headed away again at the far post, so he's defended at the far post really, really well. But the goal scorer, when the ball come back into the box, he just tried to be too nice. He should have cleared it into row Z, and that just invited pressure, and they got the corner there, but they dealt with the corner no problem.
Right, let's go and see how the lowest ranked side remaining in the FA Cup are getting on. Boreham Wood versus Accrington Stanley. Stuart Smith.
Well, it's still Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1. So they're still in the cup, but they need a goal to get back into it properly. That Ryan Astley strike, a toe poke in the 6th minute, separates these two sides. The ball has spent as much time in the air as it has done on the ground, and really starved the service. Undlove and Newton up front for Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1.
And there's been a goal at Highbury. Which way has it gone, Mark Taylor?
There have been 2 goals at Highbury Stadium. It's Fleetwood 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Rangers took the lead when Sam Field bundled the ball in a real goal-mouth scramble to give QPR the lead. And Fleetwood have equalised almost instantaneously, with Toto Enciala popping up at the back post to head downwards into the net. It's Fleetwood 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
We're going to have a free kick to Hull City here to bring you into the final 3.5 minutes of normal time in this first half, and I think there's going to be a yellow card for Issa Diop as well. He's fouled Ozan Tufan far side the Hull left, right on the touchline, halfway inside the Fulham half, and so there's some concern for Tufan now, who's down getting some treatment. He's actually just off the field of play. And what an apt time to go to Tranmere at 4 a goal. Ahmed Noor.
42 minutes gone, it's Tranmere 1, Sutton 1. Donovan Woolston will not want to look at this one back. He received the ball from a set piece in his area. He should have probably thumped it up the field. Instead of dilly-dallied inside the box, was intercepted by Jordan Turnbull, laid it off for Hawks, who curled it brilliantly into the top corner and has equalised for Tranmere. 1-1 with 3 minutes half time.
Thank you, Ahmed. So 43rd minute here in East Yorkshire. Fulham leading Hull by a goal to nil. Here comes the free kick for Hull. 40 yards from the corner flag, whipped in towards the back edge of the penalty area. Flag is up on the near side.
Brilliant high line, by the way. That's why they were offside. Hull went before. Fulham dropped off there from a wide free kick. Really good defending, that really good starting point.
Well. Chesterfield of the National League, having gone 1-0 behind and 2-1 behind against West Brom, the Championship, now lead by 3 goals to 2.
Good game.
That's the pick of the bunch so far. Burnley have just got a third against Bournemouth as well. They were pegged back at 1-1 by Ryan Christie, but looks like 2 quick goals from Anas Zarouri have turned the tide in favour of the Clarets as well. We are 1-0 here in Fulham's favour. Picked up halfway inside Fulham's own half by Tosin, up towards halfway. Andreas Pereira controls it, finds Bobby De Cordova-Reid, far side the Fulham right. Down the line to Wilson, drops his shoulder up against Tufan now.
Well under control now, aren't they? They're keeping possession, they're moving the ball really nice, a little bit quicker. Hull can't get the ball off them now, and that should take them through to half time unless they get another goal.
Well, it looks composed at the moment from Fulham.
Very much so.
No panic from Tosin as he spreads it to Diop, right hand side of the central defensive pairing. Now forward to Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Under the watchful eye of Tufan, he crosses over, albeit briefly, into Hull territory before coming more central to Harrison Reid. Here's Tosin, now 20 yards inside the Hull half. Through ball into Dan James. Corner of the area, up against Doherty and Coyle. He turns inside the former, goes back up the line to find Kearney. Here's the goal scorer, Kazava. An introduction to the FA Cup and Fulham with him. Kearney, near side the Fulham left. Back up the line to Kazava again. The Frenchman stands on it. Left-footed crossing towards the penalty area. It was towards Wilson. Couldn't channel it into the path of Vinicius. And there's been a second goal at the Valley. Louis Mendes.
Charlton 2, Lincoln 0. The Addicts double their lead with a superb move. Fraser this time with the assist. He feeds it through to Blackett-Taylor. A thunderous finish straight down the middle into the roof of the net. Man United will be quaking in their boots. Charlton 2, Lincoln 0.
It still remains 1-0 to Fulham here in East Yorkshire. We are into the final 15 seconds of normal time in this first half. Almost an opportunity gifted to Carlos Vinicius while we were with Louis. It was Tufan dropping back from attacking midfield into a position unfamiliar for him, and perhaps that explains his wonky back pass to his goalkeeper that he presented straight to Vinicius. It rebounded off the Brazilian, went out for a goal kick. Never really looked like getting it under control, but still a heart-in-mouth moment for the home side.
Yeah, they're still pressing all the way up to half-time, aren't they? They're picking and choosing when to press, and they're picking at the right time to press as well.
1 minute of added time is the call from the electronic board. We're 15 seconds into that now. Fulham have a throw in near side there left, and James is momentarily down in front of Marco Silva. We hope it's momentarily.
Yeah, he's up again, isn't he? He's fine.
He's jumped up with a tap on the back from his boss, who returns to his former parish. Good start for him so far. Fulham lead 1-0. Added time in the first half almost up. And Ryan Woods watching an aerial ball onto his chest halfway inside his own half-forward hole. Out to the left-hand side for Vale. He hooks the ball forward and he's found Smith. Could there be a one last chance here for the host to restore parity? Smith running up towards the central defensive pairing into the 18-yard box. Good tackle, Harrison Reed, to bundle him off the ball. Scoops it clear. It does come into Andres Pereira's feet, but the referee has seen enough. Josh Smith signals half-time in this FA Cup third round affair. Just the one goal so far. Levin Kazava tidying up, reacting first to a parried save from Matt Ingram. Hull were waiting for the offside flag. It never came. He fished it in off the inside of the post. Not the cleanest hit, but one that sees Fulham ahead at the break. The half-time score as we head back to the studio to get a roundup of FA Cup third round weekend is Hull City 0, Fulham 1.
BBC Radio London,
the home of London football.
Thanks so much to Cam Pope and Neil McDonald. Let's quickly go back then, shall we, to East Yorkshire, as we're the East Riding Neil McDonald, that it should be called. They have to rename the local radio station, of course, if Humberside doesn't exist, but that's an issue for another day, and for those far above my pay grade, Neil.
Above mine as well.
Yes, well, there you go. Fulham leading, and a bit like Spurs, it's about getting through a cup tie sometimes.
Yes, it is, and they've had a couple of warnings at the start where they could have went behind, and a one just right at the end there. So if they switch off, Hull are capable of coming forward. But it's a controlled possession football. They're starting to probe, they're starting to get in behind, and they're creating a couple of chances, and they thoroughly deserve the 1-0 lead at the moment, and certainly the best team on the park. And as I say, they're pressing at the right time. They've just got to switch on, making sure that they switch on defensively, and they'll see the game through no problem in the second half.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, really? So we'll have to wait and see. But just, focus, concentrate. You know, you're halfway there. That's the message at half-time, isn't it, from Marco Silva?
Yeah, that's certainly. Keep on passing and moving the ball. Pass it a little bit quicker, like we said. They're starting to find the little pockets in between the lines and making runs past the lines as well, which is causing Hull a little bit of a problem. So more of that, but pass and move it a lot quicker. They're starting to get the crosses in, so making sure that there's movement in the box and driving from the edge of the box to pick the seconds up, and then the second goal will probably come.
Thank you very much indeed, Neil McDonald. Cam Pope back with them for the second half there. Let's get some half-time stories from elsewhere then, shall we? First up in the FA Cup, not going to plan for Millwall at home to Sheffield United. Carl Bates.
No, it's not going to plan at all, Phil. Half-time score here, Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. It's a deserved lead for the Blades. In all honesty, they've been on top pretty much from start to finish. The first goal on 23 minutes, Daniel Jebberson breaking down the right and firing home at the near post, but had no chance at all. 35 minutes, it went from bad to worse. It was Jayden Bogle, edge of the penalty area. His deflected effort just looped over the keeper, kissing the crossbar on its way in. They could have had more, to be fair, but Millwall did have a great chance to get themselves back in the game right on half-time. Ball into the box got deflected. It was going right across the goal line. It was a 50-50 between Davies, the keeper, and Bradshaw. Keeper came out on top. Work to be done for the Lions. Half-time score here, Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2.
Thank you very much indeed. Certainly is work to be done at half-time in that one. So, Mark Taylor, let's go to Fleetwood against Queen's Park Rangers. The Cod Army, as you said, are back on level terms, and we did hear Captain Pugwash.
We did indeed, unfortunately. Fleetwood 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1 is the half-time score, and Rangers are not having it all their own way. Cian Hayes had a real chance to put the lead one side ahead early on, but he couldn't hit the target when free at the back post. QPR put together a superb move, and Elias Chair found Chris Willock, whose effort was blocked right in front of goal. Sam Field gave Rangers the lead when he turned the ball in from a goal-mouth scramble, but Fleetwood hit back almost immediately. Senny Dieng pushed out a drive from Lewis Warrington, but he could do nothing with a downward header from Toto Enciala that drew Fleetwood level. So at half-time, there's everything to play for. It's Fleetwood 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
That's great music in the background, Mark. You've got Chicane in the background, haven't you? Poppy Holla, which is a brilliant video, but it's also based on a song by Sigur Rós, which the original has an even better video. I highly recommend it. It's called Hoppy Polla. It's brilliant.
Well, we had ABBA before the game, which was also good.
Yes, which will warm up our very own Lucy Oliva, who's going to see ABBA tomorrow.
Really?
Yes. Actual ABBA.
Heck, that will be amazing.
It will. Mark, thank you very much indeed. Is it amazing at Boreham Wood at half-time against Accrington Stanley, who, of course, themselves play at the Wham Stadium. But this is not being played there. It's being played on the outskirts of London. Stuart Smith. Mamma mia, so it is, yes. Half-time, Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1. Just one goal separates the two, and it came from Ryan Astley's toe in the 6th minute. The ball broke in the Boreham Wood penalty area, and they failed to clear, did the defenders, and somehow Ryan Astley thought, I might as well stick this in the bottom corner, and he did with a little toe ender. Since then, though, the ball has spent more time in the air than it has on the ground. There's been one or two niggling fouls going from both sides as well. But when Boreham Wood do get the ball forward, it's kind of hit and hope towards Undlov and Newton, and they're doing pretty well to try and make something of the lost chances that the ball's going to give them, really. Defensively, though, they've still been OK. Boreham Wood, since conceding that goal, keeper Nathan Ashmore has nothing more to do. At the other end, Toby Savin in the Accrington goal has been under pressure from a couple of corners, one with a very poor punch out that fell nicely to Zach Brunt, but he couldn't do the finish that he was after. So the game's still there for Boreham Wood to get back into it, but they need to start trying to find better passes up to the front two and the front three. Just kicking it and hoping that somebody can chase and catch it probably won't get them back into this game. Get on the ground a bit more often, play one or two passes, and then level the scores. Half-time is Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1. Thank you very much indeed. It's a little bit loud there, as you can imagine, in the FA Cup. Work to be done elsewhere today. Spurs beating Portsmouth by 1-0, thanks to Harry Kane. And Crystal Palace knocked out by Southampton 2-1. They took the lead, but Southampton, whose only victories since the arrival of Nathan Jones, not Nathan James, have been in the FA Cup. They've seen off Lincoln City. And they've seen off Southampton. Talking of Lincoln City, they're at the Valley against Charlton this afternoon. Louis Mendes is there, and well, the start to 2023 has been pretty bright for Charlton in many ways, Louis.
Yeah, the Addicts were poor last year, but they seem to have changed their mind really at the start of this year, on course for a second successive victory. A bit of a slow burn, and they lead 2-0 at half-time, but it took them a while, maybe 20 minutes to get going, but then the Addicts started to turn it on, and they had the lead on 35. Scott Fraser's header, his 5th of the season, and 2nd in successive games from a wonderful cross from Miles Lever, and they doubled that just before the break. This time Fraser with the assist. It was a wonderful move from back to front. Fraser slid it through to Blackie Taylor. Still had plenty of work to do, a bit of an angle, but he absolutely blasted it into the roof of the net to double Charlton's lead. They did have chances before that. Morgan heading just wide, Fraser delivering a free kick that was also headed wide by Lebo, and at the other end a couple of important blocks from Innes and Clare to deny Mandro and Paul. But other than that, Charlton have been pretty dominant since about 15-20 minutes. Half time here, it's Charlton 2, Lincoln 0.
Thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere in League One, Bolton Wanderers 0-0 with Plymouth Argyle. Big game, that one. Cambridge United 1, Bristol Rovers 2, and Morecambe 1-1 with Cheltenham Town. Into League 2 we go then. Leyton Orient at home to Doncaster Rovers. Dave Victor.
And a reorganised defence for the O's, and they've so far held out against Doncaster Rovers side, who've shown plenty of attacking ambition. It was Jordan Brown, the outstanding player in the heart of the Leyton Orient defence. He doesn't play there very often, but he's made 3 crucial blocks, Miller, Maxwell and Biggins. Leyton Orient's didn't have a chance of note until the 24th minute. George Moncur, taking his time with the ball at his feet inside the visitors' penalty area, initially got his shot away and it was blocked. 10 minutes later, Theo Archibald with a drive, forcing the only save so far from the Doncaster Rovers goalkeeper, Jonathan Mitchell. It remains League leaders Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0.
Thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere today in League One, League Two, shall we say. There's lots of other games going on. Where are we going next? I think it was Crewe, was it, against Wimbledon? Any goals in this one? Any reason for buying a celebratory ice cream, Savvy Bird?
Not yet, Phil. We've just come to the end of 4 minutes of injury time. It's 0-0 here. It's a very stop-start half. It's included both Nick Zanev and Josh Davison going down for prolonged periods. There was also a period where Paul Calumbai at the beginning of the game disappeared for a few minutes off the touchline. So Wimbledon played with 10 men for a couple of minutes, which was quite bizarre. Crewe definitely ended the half stronger. The closest either side have come is Dan Aguirre's shot. He did brilliantly down the right-hand side to step away from Lee Brown, but his shot was blocked by Alex Pearson, went behind for a corner. A couple of minutes later, a good interlinking play between Rio Adebisi and Tariq Uwakwe nearly had the latter in behind on the left-hand side, but his pass was just overhit. Other than that, it's 0-0 here. There's not been very many chances.
Thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere, Harrogate 0, Colchester United 2. Mansfield 2, Barrow 1, Rochdale 1, Newport County 0, and all square at Prenton Park. Tranmere Rovers against Sutton. Ahmed Nur.
It's been an interesting contest. Liverpool's the home of the Eurovision contest this year, and it's fair to say we've had a bit of an interesting musical performance from the both sets of players, dancing, diving, all sorts of craziness. But it was a swift and wonderfully made move by Sutton that broke the deadlock inside 10 minutes. A fine move that led to Alistair Smith turning home the opener and giving the U's the lead to worry the home fans a little bit. Tranmere rallied inside the space of 2 minutes. They had two efforts off target. Morris and Murray both having shots, just missing the goal. But suddenly, as the game crept on, the more fouls came in. The momentum suddenly swung. Possession largely in Rovers' favour, and suddenly they created chances. Hemming's effort on the edge of the area forced a top save from Jack Rose. However, they found that equaliser after a little bit of defensive lapse in concentration from Donovan Wilson. Didn't clear the ball. It allowed Jordan Turnbull to steal it from him, sets up Josh Hawkes, who curled it home brilliantly to make it 1-1. We had a long delay of added time. Again, something about my games nowadays with added time. Jordan Turnbull collided with his goalkeeper and it forced the referee to stop the game to a head injury. Turnbull went off with a bandage on his head. I'm quite sure they haven't got a costume for that ready for May by now, but it's 1-1 at half time.
Thank you very much indeed, Ahmed. Elsewhere in the FA Cup today, by the way, Preston North End beating Huddersfield by 3-1. Leicester in these early kickoffs beating Gillingham 1-0. Reading beat Watford 2-0. Blackpool 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest at half-time. Bournemouth trailing 3-1 at home to Burnley. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 2. As you know, Fleetwood QPR 1 apiece. Ipswich 1-0 up against Rotherham United. Brighton and Hove Albion leading 2-1 at Middlesbrough. And Shrewsbury 0, Sunderland 0. 5:30 kickoffs for Brentford West Ham. That's live on BBC Radio London Sport on DAB Digital Radio. Coventry hosting Wrexham. Grimsby against Burton, Luton against Wigan are all 5:30. Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle is a 6 o'clock, and of course Liverpool against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Why wouldn't it be at 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday evening? Why wouldn't it be there? I mean, that's just a natural place to put an FA Cup tie on a Saturday evening, isn't it? Right, let's get some reaction from our early game, shall we, if we possibly can. Harry Kane with the only goal of the game as Spurs beat Portsmouth to go through into the fourth round of the FA Cup. A rather, shall we say, uninspiring first half. Kane scoring 5 minutes into the second half. Portsmouth not really doing much to redress that balance in the second period, and Spurs going through. We'll hear the thoughts of the Tottenham Hotspur man, who, of course, yet again scored and yet again led his team through to success.
It was a tough game. Obviously, we was clear favourites, and probably people expected it to be a bigger scoreline. But credit to them, you know, they stayed compact. They made it difficult, and it was just tough. You know, even when we got the goal, we thought it'd open up a bit, but they done well to kind of stop us getting that second one. So overall, good to get through to the next round. That's the main objective, and then see who we get next.
Yeah, they hung in the game well, didn't they? Restricting goal-scoring opportunities, not very many of them during the game, not clear-cut chances anyway. Was patience key today? There wasn't much for you in that first half.
Yeah, I think so. I think we said at half-time just to maybe put a couple more players further forward, the midfielders maybe getting higher up the pitch because there was no real threat in behind from them. So we've done that, and then obviously we got the goal at a good time. But yeah, still room for improvement for sure. But overall, we got through, which is the most important.
Talk me through the goal from your point of view. It looked like you only had one thing on your mind.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get on the ball more, so I dropped into that kind of space there and played a nice 1-2 with Sessi. And then, yeah, just caught it really nice. Kind of the space opened up, and it was nice to see it hit the net.
Number 265 for Tottenham, as I'm sure you're more than well aware, just the one behind Jimmy Greaves now. And you scored that goal on exactly the same day of the year that he scored his 265th. Is that whole record in your mind, or do you try to just ignore it because you know that you'll get there at some point?
Yeah, I try to not think about it. Sometimes I feel like if you think too much to try and achieve something, it almost goes the other way. So obviously I feel in good form, I feel fit, and we've got plenty of games coming up. So I just got to go into each game trying to help the team. That's always been my mindset, and hopefully the goals will come.
BBC Radio London.
You're absolutely amazing radio presenter.
This is from Margaret, who's going, oh my gosh, this is amazing radio. Amazing radio.
Real people.
And I mean, we're a family on Radio London.
Good morning, Salman.
Whatever your day is, I've got you covered here on BBC Radio London.
You inspire so many young girls.
How do I follow that?
Morning to you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
Welcome along to the show.
Your London and your life.
What a love fest this morning.
BBC Radio London. News, information, and a place to talk.
BBC Radio London.
The home of London football.
Afternoon, welcome along. It's Saturday Sport, BBC Radio London, coming up at 6 tonight. Gary Crowley, songs with a connection to the calendar in the title is what the great GC wants this evening. Jess is at with the best undiscovered and under radar music coming your way from 8 on BBC Introducing as well tonight. Right now, though, we're in the middle of our third FA Cup commentary game of the afternoon. There's been plenty of action so far in all of our matches. Let's go back, though, to East Yorkshire, the East Riding. Fulham against Hull. Cam Pope and Neil MacDonald trying to get Fulham over the line against Hull. We'll keep you up to date with all the other games. But, well, this one is there for Marco Silva to cruise through, isn't it, chaps?
Well, we certainly hope so. They're halfway there anyway. It's Marco Silva back at his former stomping ground, and he'll be pleased with what he's seen. It took a while to get going when we saw Layvin Kazava react quickest to a parry from Hull goalkeeper Matt Ingram, stabbing home his first goal of the season and only his second appearance for the club. And that's how it stayed up until half-time. There were momentary scares. Hull should have been ahead within a few minutes. A massive chance going the way of Harvey Vale after Bobby Decordova-Reid dropped a back pass to Marek Rodak way short. He couldn't convert, he couldn't find the target in the end. It's been Fulham's day so far. Fair scoreline on reflection, do we say, Neil?
Yeah, I think so. And Marco obviously wants to get the game done as quick as possible because he sent his team out already.
So they're
nowhere near there, but definitely deserved play in the second half. In the first half, they gradually wound the pressure up. They did the tempo a little bit quicker. They start probing a little bit more. They got in behind a little bit more, and it was only a matter of time before the goal come. And being on the move, trying to anticipate where it's going to drop, and that's why he scored. He was on the move. Interested to see whether it would have had VAR, whether it would have been offside or not. I haven't seen a replay of that yet, but everybody seemed to get on with it, and as I say, 1-0 well deserved.
No, nor have I seen it back. It would be interesting. That was the first reaction of all Hull players. Of course, that doesn't mean anything. A lot of players look over to the assistant referee when there's been any sort of close call, but he was in a lot of room on his own, the French left back, and reacted to it he did. And Ingram beaten the ball in off the inside of the far upright. Hull are now back out. Last player out of the tunnel is Tobias Figueiredo, having a quick scan for any changes. We didn't see any announced, but they do get missed.
I'm sure Mark will have said very much the same in the first half. Just be switched on, don't switch off. Hull are still a danger with the long ball in behind and a run in behind, more so than playing through. So they've still got to be switched on defensively, but Mark will be really pleased with the first half performance, considering how many changes he's made.
We are underway in the second half here. Hull City versus Fulham, third round of the FA Cup. Cameron Pope, and a former Hull City assistant, as well as Everton and Newcastle right back Neil McDonald alongside me. We've seen one goal so far, scored by Lervin Kazava of Fulham, and it's Fulham who have possession just inside the Hull half of the field with Vinicius. He's dispossessed. Let's go through those teams for you then, starting with Fulham. Rodak in goal, Kazava, Diop, Tosin and Decordova-Reid at the back. Kearney and Reid, Harrison Reid that is, in defensive midfield behind Andreas Pereira. The wide men are Wilson and James. Carlos Vinicius leading the line up front. As for Hull City, Matt Ingram in goal. Back four of Elder, McLaughlin, Figueiredo and Coyle. Woods and Simon sitting in midfield behind Tufan. Wales and Doherty. Bale and Doherty are the wide men behind Tyler Smith up front as they're coming together. A vicious one between Callum Elder and Harrison Reid, and the yellow card is out. That's going to go the way of Elder, who crunched into the Fulham man. He enters Josh Smith's book. A real flying tackle 20 yards inside the Fulham half. Referee was right on top of that. Not going to escape punishment.
Both committed, but really stretching his leg out. His foot was, you know, his studs were showing. That's why they got the yellow card. And Harrison Reid still down. Must have took the full force there. That was a poor tackle.
Wasn't timed well. There is time to take stock of the situation. The yellow card has finally come out for Callum Elder. The referee gave himself plenty of thinking time. Reid has picked himself up gingerly to his feet. There are options on the bench. Nathaniel Chalobah, Joao Palhinha. But I believe that Marco Silva will want to get through this assignment in the East Riding of Yorkshire without using too many of his first crop, if he can. The ball goes back to Rodak, and he's goaded by the Hull fans around him as he picks out Tosin on the corner of the area, giving away down the other end as they try to link up with Vinicius. And so Hull in possession. They trail by a Kazava goal to nil. McLaughlin back to his goalkeeper, playing out from the back towards Woods. He's set upon by Andreas Pereira. Back to the goalkeeper, and Ingram this time learning from the mistakes. Clears long over halfway, taken down by Tosin. Header out in front of the technical area of Marco Silva, who could have sportingly offered to stop the ball. Allows it to run anyway.
He was always going to leave that, mate.
Were you stop the ball and collect it, or were you a leave it, Neil?
No, I would have left it, yeah.
Here comes the cross from Elder, near side of left, over the heads and flicked away from danger by Kazava. He can defend and he can attack, and Fulham are doing the latter. Downfield, racing away from danger is Dan James. He's got Vinicius in the centre if he can find him. Cuts back to Kazava on the edge of the box. Here's Kearney, left edge of the penalty area, back out wide it goes. And Kearney being forced away from goal by the press of Woods. Good promising attack has come to nothing.
Yeah, good defending from Fulham to start off with, and then James used his pace, opened his legs. Wow, and used his pace, went down the line, but he couldn't cross it. So they've come back out and patient again, passing and moving. Not giving Hull a chance to have the ball back. He's quick, Dan James, isn't he? Mind you, the foot. I was just trying to think who was chasing him back there. It wasn't a full-back carry, it was somebody else chasing back. It was a good race, that.
Still 1-0 to Fulham. 49 minutes gone. Don't forget, we'll be round the grounds to update you on goings-on involving your other London teams. Been a mixed bag so far. Fulham in possession and unchallenged inside their own half. Here is Diop, over halfway, rolls it into the path of Wilson, back inside his own half. Every man in a Hull shirt behind the ball. 50th minute of the game. Kazava halfway inside the Hull half, far side the Fulham left. Infield to Wilson, back to Harrison Reid in the centre circle. He sees the figure of Bobby Decordova-Reid getting up from right back. Corner of the area he is. Back to Andreas Pereira, tries to slip a pass through the middle. That's well read by Hull, cleared away. Nothing on going forward, but Fulham are happy to just hold possession on halfway.
Yeah,
they'll keep comfortable and composed
so far. Ball
as
much as they want. If they keep the ball, Hull can't score.
Fulham are doing just that. Dan James on the corner of the area. He's set upon by Figueiredo. Figueiredo, the experienced centre-back, wins it back. Only briefly, though. It's been pinched off him again. Kazava on the corner of the area, cuts it back into the pocket. Harrison Reed is waiting. So to Andreas Pereira, 3 Hull shirts on top of him. It is won back by Harvey Vale. Hull trying to start a counter. Tufan is tripped. That'll be a free kick to the home side, who've played themselves well out of a sticky situation. Remains 1-0 Fulham though.
Yeah, Hull working off the shape really well. There's hardly any spaces. They're still trying to probe and pass through. Just too many people in front of Pereira there. Give the ball away, but they hunted the ball back down. I know they give a free kick away, but that will stop the tempo of Hull, which really Hull haven't done much in the second half so far. Well under control from Fulham.
Long ball down the park from Hull was into the path of Vale, but it was watched well by Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Gets his header on right at the top of his forehead and out for a throw into Hull City. Trailing in this game. Throw in to be taken by Elder, now sporting a yellow card. No way through for him. He thinks he's won another throw in, and he's going to get a shock when he realises the referee is pointing the other way. Leave the ball to Bobby De Cordova-Reid. Fulham lead 1-0.
Not being put under pressure. I thought Hull might have come out the traps, trying to really press and play the ball forward. They're still trying to pass through instead of going over the top and forcing the issue and forcing a mistake off Fulham. But they're dealing with everything okay, and certainly they've got the majority of the possession, that's for sure.
Coming through the gears, the attacks are burgeoning, but it's no urgency from Fulham, who lead by a 1-0. Dominic Solanke's pulled one back for Bournemouth. They now trail Burnley by 3-2 at Dean Court.
Game on there now.
Long chip down the line into what would have been the run of Harry Wilson, but he curtailed it knowing there was too many defenders in the way, and so it's just the ball to Ingram in the end. Hull City making life difficult, if I can put my teeth back in, difficult for themselves coming out from the defensive
they're
third.
just trying to do one too many passes, aren't they, really? And Fulham are just setting a slight trap there, trying to press in numbers, and they are pressing in numbers, and that's why Fulham can't get to the Fulham defence at the minute unless they go long.
Bobby De Cordova-Reid with a quick give and go, brings in Harry Wilson on this near side Fulham right. Fulham still leading by a 0-0. In control of this one so far, but it could change in an instant. The long ball forward from Hull into the path of Vale. Vale's going to chase it. He's got in behind Bobby De Cordova-Reid down the left edge of the penalty area. Massively overhit cross, and he had Tyler Smith in the centre. That was the only Hull option. It wasn't like he had an array of choices in the penalty area. Hugely overhit. Fulham can bring this one away over halfway into the path of Kearney. Fizzes it down the line. Here's Dan James, far side the Fulham left. Back towards Kearney, edge of the area, could shoot, up the pass into the feet of Andreas Pereira. So too to Bobby Reid, corner of the box. De Cordova-Reid into Andreas Pereira, now Kearney, 30 yards out, opens up for a shot on the left foot, just curves it over the crossbar. Well, he hit it from distance, there were bodies in the way. He certainly got it up, couldn't quite get it down with enough topspin to trouble Matt Ingram. And after 53 minutes of this FA Cup third round sight on BBC London Sport, it remains Hull 0, Fulham 1.
Yeah, first chance of the game really, wasn't it? And as I said about Hull trying to play too much football, the ball over the top, almost got through. And then Fulham worked their way up the pitch again, and a really good touch from Kearney. He opened himself up, knew he was coming across on his left foot, just tried to curl it in the top corner, but just missed the target. Yeah, so that was the first real chance of the second half.
Tosin out to Kazava, far side the Fulham left, 20 yards inside the Hull half. Fulham will go back into their own territory, leading by Kazava's 0-0, scored in the first half. Questions of offside, but no VAR here at the MKM Stadium. Woods, left edge of his own penalty area, cuts his way past Harry Wilson into Simons in a central berth, halfway inside his own half still, over halfway to Louis Coyle now. Simons again on halfway. Hull threatening to go forward, but there were defensive white shirts in the way. It's brought this time to the near side Hull left, up towards Vale, quick 1-2, now Vale's away, good ball from Tufan, behind Bobby De Cordova-Reid, crosses into the penalty area, well read by Tosin. And he shows awareness in clearing the ball, not for a corner, but for a goal kick.
Yeah, awareness was really well. If he didn't, somebody was round the back there, and that was a much better cross across the face of the goal. But Tosin, really good positioning, and that's what you call a clearance. Just put it out. regroup, defend again, and don't let Hull back into our box.
So the throw in, 15 yards from the Fulham corner flag, taken quickly and short by Elder. Offside flag on the far side, and home fans voiced their disagreement.
As soon as that ball went up towards Hull's own goal, even if it was 5 yards, it pushed up. The centre forward just switched off and tried to make the pass forward. He was always going to be offside. So that again, good defensively, good organisation, know what they're doing at the right time, at the right place at the right time at the minute. So everything's working out for them.
It was Harvey Vale who was flagged out. Fulham leading by a goal to nil. You're listening to Cameron Pope and Neil MacDonald on BBC Radio London Sports. I'm on the BBC Sounds app. Tosin in the centre circle. Gets barged by Tyler Smith, and the referee has seen it.
Yeah, just
offers out a reprimand.
Just protected himself, really.
Harrison Reid in the centre circle seems to have walked off his knock earlier in the challenge with Elder that saw the latter yellow carded. No control from Tom Kearney in an attacking left wing position. He's shut down, and Hull will have a throw in. We'll be round the grounds to update you with goings on elsewhere. Haven't seen any fresh goals pop in. Highlights Millwall trailing 2-0 at home to Championship high flyers Sheffield United. The real pick is Chesterfield 3, West Brom 2, the National League side over the Championship contenders who are hauling themselves out of a battle. A bit of a rival for Hull City here, and the Hull fans find their voices to clamour for a handball against Bobby De Cordova-Reid as he brings out his own goalkeeper.
Really good positioning.
Down the other end it will go though. Dan James up towards the corner flag, gets to the byline, crosses it back across the face of goal. It won't run for Harry Wilson. Elder looking to try and clear that up his line, then sensed the oncoming white shirt and hooked it out for a corner.
He didn't know he was there, by the way, and it was the last minute panicked. Just kicked it out and went for a goal, for a corner. But again, James using his pace to get in behind, right to the byline, good pull back. Just didn't fall for one of the players on the move inside the box. But a corner, earned a corner. Let's see whether they're going to go short, whether they're going to play a short one or they're going to put it straight in. There's plenty of people in the box to try and head the ball in.
Closest to the goalkeeper is Tosin. He's supported by Dan James. The corner taken by Andreas Pereira. He goes short. Here comes the follow-up cross header from Bobby De Cordova-Reid, but it's wide. Mess it at the front post. Couldn't channel his header on target.
Good bowling. Good bowling from Kearney there. Good header. Just didn't hit the target.
Delivery was good. The finish not there. And Alexis McAllister, who's had plenty to celebrate in recent weeks, has got something else now as well. A third goal for Brighton against Middlesbrough up at the Riverside. They lead by 3-1. Still 1-0 Fulham here as Ingram takes his goal kick short into Figueiredo. Vinicius trying to close him down, but that ball's already been moved out of the defensive third to Simons. Here's Elder, near side the home side's left. Down the line to Vale. Bobby De Cordova-Reid right on top of him though, and it's not a great ball back to the goalkeeper. It was McLaughlin scampering back, thinking about covering because he knew Vinicius was chasing it down. He did make it to Ingram in the end.
You just hold your breath on them situations, don't you? Thinking, oh, it's going to fall for him. But got away with that one.
Well, it could have been very different. We had a similar situation from Bobby De Cordova-Reid after only a few short minutes where he left a back pass horribly short.
Fulham should have been punished with that one. You've got to score the goals, especially when you're playing against a team above you. Fulham in the Premiership got let off there, and they took advantage of it with a couple of chances that they've had, and they've stuck one in the back of the net.
Well, it was certainly a turning point. It was the first thing that me and Neil discussed off air at half-time. Harvey Vale's miss didn't force Rodak into making a save. That still remains Hull's best chance. It's Fulham who lead by 1-0. Kazava the scorer in the first half. Cameron Pope and Neil MacDonald on BBC Radio London Sport as Tufan controls an aerial ball and spins it out to Coyle far side the Hull right. Attacking against Dan James, cuts it back over his shoulder. Simons 40 yards out, finds the ginger hair of Woods, still in a central berth. Here's Simons again. Cries of shoot.
He's a bit too far out for that.
Here comes Vale, left edge of the penalty area, up against Bobby De Cordova-Reid, twists back onto his right foot, back up the line, cross from Elder straight at the goalkeeper. That's a comfortable hole for Rodak. As the hour approaches, we've had 59.5 minutes here in the East Riding of Yorkshire. It's Hull 0, Fulham 1. Burnley have got a fourth in a brilliant game in Dorset. Manuel Benson has made it Bournemouth 2, Burnley 4.
Fulham got into the final third there, but as soon as that ball was passed back, the two centre-halves pushed up really good, condensed the space, and the cross went straight into the goalkeeper's hands. So they still are concentrating, they're certainly in the defending. And that was decent enough for the goalkeeper to come and catch it, wasn't it? So no problems at all. Marco will be standing on the sideline thinking that this is very, very comfortable at the moment.
Well, we've had 60 minutes and it's the first movement from either bench, double change for Hull City. You can see Tufan coming off. He's going to be replaced by Regan Slater, defensive midfielder, so maybe a change of shape. Aaron Connolly, on loan from Brighton, has got his international clearance in time after coming back from his loan with Venezia. He is coming on to replace Harvey Vale, and so a debut for him. Two of the attacking midfielders.
Yeah, two changes. They're going to try and force the issue a little bit, haven't they? Because apart from that one cross there, they haven't really caused Fulham a defensive problem yet. Let's see whether they're fresh legs. And
long ball over the top, it's Van Vinicius into the penalty area. He's going to shoot but never finds a target, never looked like it either. He seems to be off balance. Tried on the left foot to go across the goal of Matt Ingram. Ball chipped over the top, and Hull were slow and sluggish on the uptake. Unfortunately, the accuracy was not there. So 61 minutes gone. It's Hull 0, Fulham 1. I'm just going to watch before we go to Carl Bates at the Den, because Hull have decided to play out from the back from this goal kick. They'll fizz it straight out for a throw-in. And with that, we will go to the Den. Carl Bates.
63.5 minutes on the clock. It's still 2-0 to Sheffield United. It's been better from Millwall in the second half. Plenty of substitutions. Tyler Bury, Romain Eze, Zian Fleming is on the park, but they're only half chances at the moment. Sheffield United still looking fairly comfortable. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2.
Fleetwood versus QPR, Mark Taylor. Mark, QPR managing more than half chances?
Not really. Ilias Chairs had a 20-yarder deflected off target. It's still 1-1 with the swirling wind and rain making it a real cup tie here at Highbury Stadium. Rangers keeper Senny Dieng has had to keep out a drive from Cian Hayes. Rob Dickey has prevented a certain goal from the same player. It's still Fleetwood 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Two halfway, Fulham will walk this ball. I still find it strange hearing the name Highbury Stadium. I'm very much of the Arsenal Invincibles Dreamcast on the shirt era, and so Highbury for me means North London.
Same colour.
Same colour indeed, I guess. It is a confusing one. We'll go around the grounds, continue with our round the grounds in just a moment, as Fulham threatening to come forward down the left-hand side. Levan Kazava standing on that ball and couldn't find a way through.
Going back to the chance, I know it's gone a little bit quiet here, but that was a great chance for Vinicius, wasn't it? Just a simple ball over the top, and he wasn't really sharp in it. He just glided in, and his left foot shot right across the face of the goal. He'd be disappointed with that finish. That was a great chance to go 2-0 up.
Let's go to see how Leyton Orient are getting on. Brisbane Road Stadium, Dave Victor.
It remains Leyton Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0. There's been few clear-cut chances in this second half, but one fell to the O's just before you joined us. It was a long throw from Tom James, touched on by Adam Thompson for the captain Darren Pratley. His shot was a fierce one, blocked at point-blank range. Orient 0, Doncaster Rovers 0.
Still 1-0 to Fulham here, camped on halfway, the white shirts of the away side. So with that, let's go to Charlton. Louis Mendes.
Yeah, just over an hour gone. It's still Charlton 2, Lincoln 0. The Addicts really should be further ahead. A great chance from Miles Leeburn at the start of this second half. Jezrak Saki, it was, he worked the goalkeeper, Carl Rushworth. He palmed it out to Leeburn 6 yards out. He was just leaning back though, and he scooped it over the crossbar. Still Charlton 2, Lincoln 0.
News of a goal at Prenton Park. Tranmere Sutton, Ahmed.
Great strike. And it's 2-1 to Tranmere Rovers, thanks to a fine, well-worked goal. It started out on the left and played it towards Morris. Morris chipped it into the edge of the area for Hemmings. His first touch got away from one defender, and he smashed it hard and low into the bottom corner. That's given Tranmere 2 over Sutton's 1. It's getting a bit harder for Matt Gray's men now.
Thank you, Ahmed. 26 minutes to go here. Fulham still leading, threatening to find a second coming down the left a moment ago by Kearney. Came back up the line, and that was to his detriment. And a slip on the touchline presents Hull with a throw-in and kills a burgeoning move in its tracks. Fulham remaining on top, still yet to be truly threatened, I would say, in this second half by Hull City.
No, they haven't got into the final third at all with any quality over there. So that's really good play from Fulham. Really, the defensive side, they're pressing at the right time, they're stopping the forward pass. They're well in control of the game.
So plenty of football to be had across the grounds. We've got League 1, League 2 action that we're keeping you involved with. We're going to go to Crewe Wimbledon in just a moment, because Fulham, as has been the case for much of this second half, have been threatening to enter into that attacking third and then thinking better of it, going conservative with a small C. So without further ado, Crewe Alexandra versus AFC Wimbledon. Xavier Bird.
Crewe 0, Wimbledon 0. 61.5 minutes gone here. Crewe started the second half much the better of the two. Basilea Sambu hit the post after just 1 minute, after some lovely work between Uwakwe and Adebisi down the left-hand side. That's where the problem has been regularly for Wimbledon today. They've come into the second half a little bit better. Davison had a shot blocked by O'Riordan in the 53rd minute, and then Chislett just overhit a pass for Davison that he could have been in behind in the 58th. So, other than that, not too much to talk about in this game.
Well, Harrison Reid has just headed away from his penalty spot. Thanks for that, Xavi. But Hull, having been dormant in the second half, are threatening to come forward again. Crossed by Woods towards the back post. Hit goals by Smith. Rodak comes and claims it, and he had to get there. He's at full stretch, the Slovakian. But in blue, he towers above the defence, and Aaron Connolly was threatening to crown his debut in style. He was waiting for that ball to be delivered from the left-hand side, but the goalkeeper read it well. Remains Hull 0, Fulham 1.
Brilliant hands. He come, and that was his to come and get. And he's definitely bossing the box at the minute. That's really good. Anything that comes in, he seems to be in the right place.
So 1-0 here, and completing your BBC Radio London Sport dream team on third round FA Cup day is Stuart Smith watching Bournemouth Accrington.
Well, it's still 1-0 to the visitors. That goal coming on 6 minutes from Ryan Astley. On the hour, we've played 67 at the moment, by the way, but on the hour, 3 substitutions for Bournemouth. On comes Sousa, Marsh and Rees. Off go Brunt, Lewis and Newton. They're trying to break this deadlock and get themselves back into the game. At the moment, they're going out of the FA Cup unless they can react quickly. Bournemouth 0, Accrington Stanley 1.
Valiant effort again in the FA Cup from Bournemouth. Kenny Tete is getting ready to come on for Fulham. But we have had news of a goal. No such luck in the second half here. They're all happening now, and it's again at Tranmere. Abed Noor.
2-2, another one for Sutton. This time, no more after 2 minutes after they equal, found the way into the lead, did Tranmere. Alistair Smith picked up the ball from 25 yards out. Fit a venomous shot. Ross Stewart parried it into his own net. We might go down as an own goal. Smith is claiming it, but it's now 2-2 with 62 minutes gone.
Also a goal for Mark at Fleetwood.
Fleetwood 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Would you believe? Midway through the second half, a goal for Fleetwood. Promise of a cherry, putting them ahead in this cup tie with a scrambled effort. And Rangers have it all to do now. Fleetwood 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
FA Cup shot brewing at Highbury. Fulham have won themselves a corner. 22 minutes of play remaining in the East Riding of Yorkshire as darkness descends.
Again, Dan James running down the left, trying to get to the byline. He's the one that's causing all the problems. He's the one that's using his pace. He's the one that's delivering in the box.
Here comes the corner. Can Fulham go about increasing their lead on FA Cup third round day? BBC Radio London Sport. There are going to be some changes. I can see Kenny Tete is ready to come on. In fact, there's going to be 2 changes apiece as well, because while Polina is stripped and ready, and for Hull City, you can see a glut of changes too, keeping us on our toes. We've got top scorer Oscar Estupinian and Benjamin Tete ready to come on. So we've got Tete and Tete, but they'll have to wait either way, because the corner has been taken away from goal by Andreas Pereira. Neil's laughing next to me. I've had far worse than that. I was once doing a Europa League game off tube, and I had Ladislav Krejci come on to centre midfield for Slavia Prague, playing alongside Ladislav Krejci. So now Tete and Tete, that's nothing. It's nothing. Centre circle, Fulham have the ball. They lead 1-0. 21 minutes of normal time remaining. Kazava's goal. It's Andreas Pereira who receives it. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Far side the Fulham left, cuts it back to Kearney, advancing well through the middle. Might be a crossing option here towards the back post. Headed clear by Elder, going to drop on the edge of the box. Pereira looked like he thought about the shot. Now into Kearney, twisting and turning away from goal. 30 yards out, been put up by Simons. Out to the far left-hand side, now across deep towards the back post, and they're queuing up in white. It's kept alive by Wilson, flicked into the hands of the goalkeeper. And that promising move comes to nothing once again. It was Raymond Kazava who's got the taste of goals so far was some way from finding a second, just a tame effort into the hands of Ingram. And as we come up to the 70-minute mark, it's Hull 0, Fulham 1.
No chance to get the substitutes on at the moment.
No, still waiting, still keeping warm. And it's Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0. And without looking at the team news from Blackpool, I'm wondering if that's a Premier League side who've decided that perhaps the cup isn't the most important
they're better
competition
off being
this year.
out of the cup, mate. They're going really well in the league. They're better off being out of the cup and no distractions.
Still waiting for the arrival of 4 players from the touchline, 2 centre forwards in Tete and Estupinian for Hull City. Polinia, of course, defensive midfield is his bread and butter, and Tete a right back, so I wonder if that might be Bobby De Cordova-Reid, relieved of his utility man duties. Still passing it around the back, Fulham lead by a goal to 0. Here's Bobby De Cordova-Reid up the right hand side into Wilson. Pings a 1-2, Bobby De Cordova-Reid into the feet of Andreas Pereira. Can't receive the follow-up ball, and then there's a foul on Connolly. Free kick for Hull, and finally we will see these changes being made. Kenny Tete has gone to sprint onto the field and has been pulled back by Marco Silva to allow time for, and we called it, Bobby De Cordova-Reid to come off.
Yeah, good change really, to be fair. Fresh legs, as well as he's done a decent job apart from the one back pass there. He's had a really good game, defended the far post really well on a couple of occasions, and never really been tested 1v1 on the defensive side.
And so Andreas Pereira is the other change for Joao Polinia. And now for the home side substitutions too, we are going to see the number 22 Tyler Smith, who did a good job of leading the line in the first half in his hold-up play, but hasn't really had a sight of goal. Also saying goodbye to Xavier Simons on his full Hull City debut. So 2 attacking changes.
As well, hasn't he?
Always nice to see for a new introductee be welcomed in. Good play by Simons today, but the baton has been passed in an attacking sense to Benjamin Tete and to Oscar Estupinian. Top scorer, 11 this season, but a big goal at Brisbane Road. Take it away, Dave Victor.
It is Leyton Orient that has shattered the deadlock, and they did it in style. It was Theo Archibald with his 4th of the season, and without doubt his best. It was a lofted strike that left the goalkeeper stranded. Leyton Orient 1, Doncaster Rovers 0.
And it's come to that time already. We've got some team news from our late kick-off, Brentford versus West Ham. Andy Rowley.
And Brentford make a host of changes after the victory against Liverpool. Only 4 players keep their places. That's Ben Mee, Mads Roerslev, Matthias Jensen and Johan Risa. As for West Ham, they managed to keep 7 of the team that drew 2-2 at Leeds. The only changes see Ben Johnson, Angelo Ogbonna, Emerson and Mikel Antonio come in.
Kazava is robbed of possession on halfway by Doherty, but Hull can't do anything with it down the right-hand side, trying to bring in Tete for his first slice of the action. Harrison Reed dispossessed by Estupinian, who then almost collides with Woods, but Hull are coming forward. They'll have a cross-come shot from 40 yards out that's gone way over the bar. Rodak can calm things down and eat up a little bit more time. We're into that gamesmanship period of the game.
Yeah, Reed
management comes into it.
Yeah, Reed and Carey, who I think have bossed the game, and they're the ones who've set the tone. Just a little bit lax in the passing between them. They lost the ball, but luckily the cross-come shot, probably a cross or a pass, was woeful, went right over the top. But yeah, we'll go again. Fulham build up play again. No mistakes, no silly mistakes to let Fulham back in it. They're still well in control, Cam.
Still quiet in the away end, very sparsely populated over on the far side. A long drive up to the East Riding of Yorkshire. I'm guessing by the fact that they're not jumping around is that they've prepared for the weather and they're not too cold. They'll be warmed by what they've seen on the pitch so far, but Hull are threatening to try and do away with this 1-goal advantage for Fulham. Won back by Harrison Reed on the edge of his own penalty area. Brings it briefly under the control of Harry Wilson, then the foul committed on Callum Elder of Hull. And Hull will take this free kick 30 yards deeper down the field than they should have, and the referee has moved them back towards
Just got to be
halfway.
careful. Just got to be careful not to have the extra touch now, because obviously Hull are taking every chance now to get forward.
Here they come with Estupinian forward towards Tete, edge of the box, out to the left-hand side. They're moving this one well into the penalty area, blocked off. Fulham have a chance to clear with Polinia. He's dispossessed though on the near side by Callum Elder. Plays it further into the penalty area. Now a shot opening up into the 18-yard box. They couldn't move the ball quick enough. Regan Slater had the opportunity. It's still out on the edge of the penalty area. Into the box, it's fired. There was no way through. And the offside flag has been called, but Benjamin Tete trying to link up with his Stupinian in the 18-yard box, and in the end thwarted by the assistant referee's call on the far side. Fulham not as assured as they were in the earlier part of the second half. We played 75 minutes. They still lead by 1-0, and we're going to see another change on the bench. Harry Wilson is coming off, and so a welcome return from Noor Solomon, who makes his way on. Hasn't played since August. Returned to the matchday squad last time out against Leicester in the third win since the restart. And we're also going to see Laban Kazava coming off. Anthony Robinson will be taking his place.
He's putting his big stars on now to finish the game off. As I say, even though they're really comfortable and not really many problems, Hull are obviously playing off the front foot now, so they've still got to be careful. They could do with a second goal just to take the pressure off. But put a couple of the big guns on just to finish it off now, I think.
14 minutes remaining. Fulham have the advantage. Still plenty of football to be played in the FA Cup third round weekend. You're listening to Cameron Pope and Neil MacDonald on BBC Radio London Sports and on the BBC Sport website as Rodak hits high up towards halfway, and the ball is collected by Regan Slater. We won't find any way forward though. Hull looking in vain for a way through. Woods in the centre circle, finds Slater, watched all the way by Noor Solomon. Woods pushed further into his own half, and Vinicius is the next one to take up the press. Long ball forward from Figueiredo.
Mark was just getting a little bit upset on the
given away by Anthony Robinson though, brought into the penalty area. Might be an opportunity if Doherty can control it. Put off by Polinia, out to Coyle, far side the right, crosses, punched by Rodak. Well, he was under pressure from Moscow Stupinian, and the pressure might continue because Regan Slater was first to the cleared ball. Near side the Hull left, brings it infield towards Woods. 30 yards from the corner flag, Slater has it back. It's through the legs and forward towards Tete. Crosses into the penalty area. Fulham will fish that ball behind awkwardly for a corner. And suddenly, the noise levels are ratcheted up as the home side go in search of a long-awaited equaliser. Fulham certainly not home and dry yet. 12 and a half to go, they lead 1-0.
Silva's a little bit agitated on the sideline there. He just wants somebody up the tempo.
Here comes the corner. Near side, the Hull left. Got some exciting goal news to bring you in a moment, but here it comes. The corner from Woods towards the back post, headed away by Polinia. It's not quite cleared, it will bounce, luckily for Fulham, freely into the hands of Marek Rodak. He can collect. The score remains 1-0 in his side's favour. Goal at Boreham Wood. What's the latest?
Boreham Wood 1, Accrington Stanley 1. The equalising goal in the 78th minute. Free kick taken inside the Accrington half by Femi Olusanmi. Played a little 1-2 with Tyrone Marsh. Went down the left wing himself. His cross into the penalty area was headed home by Lee Ungloved. It's Boreham Wood 1, Accrington Stanley 1.
Thank you to Stuart Smith. Fulham coming forward again. 12 minutes remaining. We're going to go to the Valley shortly. Harrison Reed tries to thread a ball into the penalty area, given away. Hull will recycle it. Let's go to Louis Mendes.
Yeah, Lincoln have a goal back. It's Charlton 2, Lincoln 1 with 15 minutes left. It's Danny Mandrew who finally fired home from the centre of the penalty spot. It was a wonderful run on the left-hand side from Vernon. The ball came into Mandrew. He had to take 3 bites of the cherry, but after the third block, he fired it into the roof of the net. Charlton 2, Lincoln 1.
Benjamin Tete has it for Hull in the centre circle. Fulham half of the field. The Cottagers lead by 1-0. 11 remaining of normal time. Ticket to the 4th round of the FA Cup at stake. Replay still not out of the question as Solomon dives through 2 Hull players, fishes it back into the edge of his own penalty area where Diop has put under pressure, so much pressure, and he has to thump that ball out for a throw into the home side. Connolly stepping right on him. Throw in then to be taken by Elder, near side the Hull left as they look for an equaliser. Into Woods, still right in that corner. Block comes in from Noor Solomon. McAllister's got another at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 4. Ipswich have just taken a 3-1 lead ahead against Rotherham. Long throw into the penalty area. Fulham will deal with this one better. It comes out to Vinicius, edge of his own defensive third. Shouts of handball from the home side against Harrison Reed. Referee was in a good position to see it. Waves play on.
Well played. Really good play that. Got themselves out of danger and switch. Yeah. That was the little possession games, little triangles. Now Robinson's.
Kearney's found Robinson
firing
on the left-hand side, and he was well tracked in the end and stopped. And the clearance can come in from Coyle. Hull not panicking just yet. They have it with Woods halfway inside their own half. Up towards halfway, Connolly and Brighton Loney tries to bounce off the challenge on the right-hand side from Tete. And he does so, but concedes the throw-in doing so. We're into the 81st minute. Hull 0, Fulham 1.
Yeah, the changes from Hull have just up the crowd's atmosphere a touch. Tete's finding the ball in the little pocket just in front of the back four, and that's causing Fulham a little bit of a problem, so they need to know where he is.
Slater finds Aaron Connolly just shy of halfway. He believed he was being pulled by Issa Diop. Referee says no decision. Forward it goes, and Solomon cuts it inside to Kearney. He's 30 yards out in central. All queuing up on the edge of the penalty area. The shot from distance, well hit by Dan James, and a good save from Ingram. This one's going to roll up towards the corner flag and just goes the wrong side of it for Fulham. It'll be a throw-in rather than a corner. Dan James hitting plenty of venom behind the shot. I think the goalkeeper had the benefit of seeing it early, but still had the save to make.
Yeah, he still had to make the save, didn't he? A really good shot come inside, but a good run from Solomon, taking his man on. Played the ball in midfield, played it wide, and well worth coming in for a shot there, so decent effort.
It's going to be a free kick to Fulham here, right on the goal line, just outside the penalty area for a pull on Solomon.
Silly free kick from Slater,
by Slater.
Yeah.
And Callum Elder needs to be careful there. He was letting his frustration to be known rather audibly to the referee. He's sporting a yellow card for a rash challenge on Harrison Reed at the start of the second half.
Interesting to see what they do here, whether they change the angle or whether they just put it in for a little bit of a fight. Hull have gone zone marking along the 6-yard box, 2 or 3 of them picking up.
They're also planning on giving a first appearance of the season to Callum Jones, the 21-year-old. We've got 8 minutes of normal time remaining. We're going to go and check on AFC Wimbledon in just a moment. Wait for the result of this corner. It'll be taken by Solomon. Near side, the Fulham right, crosses towards the back post, over everyone. It'll run to Harrison Reed though. Left edge of the penalty area. Can he find a cross? Forced back to Anthony Robertson. Goes right along his own defence towards Tete. Near side the Fulham right, 20 yards inside the Hull half. Long crossfield ball up towards Dan James. James will let it run. Goes right the way up his own touchline and puts it out to play for a Hull throw. Not quite sure what the plan was there from the Leeds United loanee. Let's go check on Wimbledon with Xavi Bird.
It's still 0-0 here, Cam. I feel like I might have jinxed this one. Neither of these two teams have kept a clean sheet against each other before. They both might do it today. It's 79 minutes gone. It was very bright and breezy early on, and the rain is now coming down and the sun has set. Very few chances to speak of in the second half, though. Still 0-0.
So Callum Jones, the 21-year-old central midfielder, is coming on for Hull City. And there's also movement on the Fulham end. Nathaniel Chalabar is getting ready to come on. We have 7 minutes of normal time remaining here in Hull. Fulham leading by 11 Kazava, goal to nil. He's since also been replaced. Hull coming forward with Elder. Near side, the Tigers left. Level with the edge of the penalty area. He's forced to cut back on the pressure from Kenny Tete. And so Woods, by way of Slater, goes back inside his own half. Still waiting for Chalabar to come on. He's jogging up and down below us. Marco Silva still with hands in pockets in his puffer jacket. There's a battle on for possession in the centre circle, which ultimately the home side will win. And
can't get anywhere, can they? Can't get in behind, can't get through them. Really good defending from, good shape from Fulham. Stopping everything that Hull are trying to ask the questions, and they're not getting anywhere at the moment, which is good.
No way through for the away side, who've been chasing this game since the first half, and Levin Kazava's reactionary strike in off the post. That's the only goal that separates these two teams. Final 6 minutes of normal time. Fulham out of possession, but trying their best to win it back through Manor Solomon. Elder holds him off, goes to Figueiredo across his own goal, going against every coach's mantra of not playing across your own back line.
Yeah.
Has worked for them in this occasion though. Jones, the young central midfielder, forward to the far right hand side for Hull.
Nothing going though.
Frustration from the home fans
yeah,
now.
They're starting to get a little bit frustrated, aren't they? And that's all because of Fulham holding the shape, holding the lane, holding a high lane as well.
Long, thumping ball down the left-hand side for Elder. Keeps it alive by the corner flag, crosses towards the back post, it's too deep. Anthony Robertson puts it behind. It's going to be a corner. Let's have a very quick look at QPR at Highbury with Mark Taylor.
4 minutes to go. It's still Fleetwood 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Rangers have sent on 4 substitutes, but the League One side are standing firm. Fleetwood 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
We're still waiting for this corner. We will go to Ahmed in just a moment at Tranmere to see how Sutton are faring. But we are watching Fulham desperately try and defend with everyone back. They're placed in the 4th round. Here it comes, crossed in towards the front post, headed down. Goalkeeper saves, flag is up on the far side. Rodak had to react quickly. Connolly with the header, but he looked clearly offside at the back post. Rodak didn't have too much movement to make. It was put right into his chest. He hammered that ball away either way.
He didn't know he was offside either, by the way, so it was a really good save. Even though he was offside, the linesman stuck his flag up straight away.
Nathaniel Chalobah is now going to come on. He's going to replace Harrison Reed, and as he's
had a brilliant game in, by the way. He's had a really good game. I love the way he plays. I love the way he gets on the ball. He's industrious. He's mobile. He picks a pass. He's had an excellent performance in tonight.
So we're going to pop to Prenton Park then. Any late drama, Ahmed Noor?
It is 2-2 here, 10 minutes to go. There's been plenty of drama. We had a right off scramble where it led to a few yellow cards being dished out. Eastman went down under the challenge of Morris. Morris reacted, lifted up the captain. It brought a ruck of players together and a few yellow cards were dished out. Eastman, Morris and Hemmings all booked. McGill brought down a midfielder also getting yellow carded. And beyond that, we've had very little in way of chances. It's a close front thing with 9 minutes to go, 2-2.
Thanks, Ahmed. Massive win brewing for Leyton Orient, perhaps. Dave Victor.
It is still the league leaders with that slender advantage from that wonder strike from Theo Archibald. Since then, they've made a couple of substitutions. Will Saturio's gone on, so too has Duke McKenna on loan from Queen's Park Rangers. A professional display from the O's, keeping possession, and at the moment, a good value for that slender lead. Leyton Orient 1, Doncaster Rovers 0.
Free kick, Hull City. And that's where you rejoin us, 20 yards inside the Fulham half. And the gate has just been announced. Just over 14,000, 14,175. No word on how many have travelled up from the capital.
Look at the high line, by the way, that's excellent.
Very high line, 15 yards at least beyond the edge of the penalty area. Here comes Ryan Woods, who was the man fouled, crosses towards the 18-yard box. There is a header goalwards. It will be easily saved by Rodak, straight down his throat.
It's coming from 14, 15 yards ahead because of the starting position. Goalkeeper just like picking cherries off a tree.
And what dictates how high you can put this line then, Neil? Is it
well,
how much pace you've got at the back? Is it how much confidence you're playing on?
I think it's just where the ball is, the position of the ball, and if you stay high, the man on the ball is under pressure because he hasn't got really anywhere to hit. If he hits it short, that's really good for Fulham. If he hits it too long, just straight into the goalkeeper's hands like it was.
Given away by Anthony Robinson, and Hull are coming through the gears. Forward with Benjamin Tete. Far side there right. Robinson amends and forces Woods further away from goal. He's 45 yards out as the crow flies. It's now wide on the right with Coyle. Header away from Tosin. Controlled by Kearney with Tete right over his shoulder. Tete does try and close down Anthony Robinson, which he does. And he gets a round of applause for his bravery, but still a throw into Fulham. And at the moment, Marcus Silva will take that. There's 90 seconds of normal time remaining of this FA Cup third round encounter. And Levin Kazava's goal still separates us.
The last thing he wants is a goal from Hull in the last couple of minutes to force a replay. Concentration levels still got to be there. They've got to clear the lines, show a bit of composure, but at the same time clear the lines and then push out.
Well, there have been some goal-heavy affairs elsewhere. Blackpool are cruising into the fourth round. They are beating Nottingham Forest by 4 goals to 0 there into added time. So too Middlesbrough and Brighton, 5-1 to the Premier League side currently. Still 1-0 to Fulham here, but they're on the defensive as they have been for more of the second tranche of this second half than they were for the first. Regan Slater's forced back into his own half, though. That'll suit Fulham.
Yeah, fourth official's ready to put the timer up. How many do you think?
And he's got 40 seconds left before he reveals all to us. I'm going to say we've had a lot of substitutions, if not goals. I'm going to say 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think you're bang on there.
See, I was going to hope you were going to say something different, because then when we were at Wolves on Saturday, Louisa could have bought the sweets.
I know, yeah.
But unfortunately, we both played it safe.
Yeah,
so,
well, I'll go for 6 minutes then, and then it's the sweeties for the next game.
Thank you. That'll give Phil Parry a chuckle back in the studio, I'm sure. Still 1-0 Fulham, 15 seconds of normal time remaining. And Figueiredo seems caught in two minds as to whether to go forward or to go along his defence, and you can tell which one he picked by the whistles from the home crowd. He's picked up McLaughlin.
Nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. The man on the ball's getting pressured.
Look at that.
Really good player.
It is 4 minutes.
I'm on the sweet duty the next
I'll have
game,
any of the jelly variety.
Yeah, okay, pal.
Thank you. So 4 minutes for Marco Silva on his return to the East Riding of Yorkshire to hold out for a place in the fourth round without having to use too many of his stronger players for too long of the affair.
Vinicius has got to get hold of that ball there. It's come back off him and just sets Hull off again. Marco Silva's absolutely screaming at him to get hold of the ball.
The Brazilian was in line to nick the ball just inside the Hull half. Hull are now coming forward themselves. Elder's pass is misplaced into Tete, so Kenny Tete can try and clear it. And miscontrol by Mana Solomon plunges the ball out for a Hull throw. Let's have a quick Bournemouth update. What a chance they have of getting into the draw. Stuart Smith.
We're still in it at the moment. We're playing 4 additional minutes at the end of this game, and we've just seen Femi Olusanmi go forward from left back and have a fierce shot just over the bar. This game could still end in a result, but at the moment it's Bournemouth 1, Accrington Stanley 1.
Massive result that would be at Meadow Park, and they go all the way. They've done it before. Hull City have also done it before, finalists in 2014. They are heading out of the cup unless they can find something here. We've had one of the 4 added minutes. Figueiredo has the ball for the home side in the centre circle. Fulham leading by a 0-0. It's been a late equaliser at Shrewsbury. Sunderland have saved themselves a few blushes. They might have just forced a replay. 1-1 in that one. Aaron Connolly chests the ball down on the corner of the Fulham box, and he's stopped
from Diop.
Issa Diop just showed him too much of it. But a throw-in still to Hull.
Coming in.
And the home fans are getting behind Callum Elder, who drives the ball on his orange and black striped shirt. He waves his teammates forward. Everybody back for Fulham. Here it comes from the left side. Elder into the penalty area, headed backwards, headed goalwards, and saved over the bar at full stretch. Marek Rodak. What an opportunity. The throw-in from Elder straight into the penalty area, whipped towards the front edge of the 6-yard box. It was sprayed, I think, onto the head of Oscar Stupinian, who headed goalwards.
Header, fantastic save. Well, that's the first effort on goal they've had.
Well,
goalkeeper's up.
Matt Ingram is up. I always find that curious when there are 3 Hull men still out of the penalty area. Here comes the corner. It's hit Anthony Robinson, the first man, but picked up by Slater on the corner of the area for Hull. Quick 1-2. This has to go into the penalty area. Headed over his own crossbar by Issa Diop. He never looked in doubt there, knew what he was doing, but the result, of course, is another corner to Hull City.
Brilliant defending that.
Ryan Woods is racing over.
Another one's coming in.
We've had 92.5 minutes. We'll be playing at least till 94. Here comes the corner, near side the Hull left. Fulham leading by a 0-0. Again, the first man heading away. This time it's Kenny Tete.
Yes, excellent. Front post Hull. That's his job to clear it from there. Got to squeeze out though.
Quick throw-in comes out to Regan Slater, who gets the cross in. Ingram is still up. It's cleared by Fulham, but they have left the covering defender recoil. Oh, he might not have controlled it. It's been pinched off him and racing down on goal. This could be 2-0. This has to be it, surely.
Yeah.
Dan James caps it off. A nervy performance at times in the second half. Louis Coyle caught in possession. His goalkeeper was up and stranded. The aerial ball caught him out, but it didn't catch Dan James out. The Leeds loanee races away, cool, calm and collected. The goal at his mercy. The home fans are leaving, and as we edge towards a conclusion here, Fulham will moving on up into the 4th round on Marco Silva's return to the East Riding of Yorkshire. Dan James makes it Hull City 0, Fulham 2.
Yeah, that's how you finish a game off. That's how you defend properly from a corner and use your pace to put the pressure on the defender. Didn't have the right touch. He just knocks it out his feet and waits and waits and waits until it's absolutely perfect. Just knocks it in the back of the net. Game over.
Well, that is that. A bit of an anti-climax after all the drama and the tension we've had in the last 10 minutes. But
it's amazing.
Won't be complaining.
It's amazing how quickly the whole place is cleared out. They were really excited. Had a couple of crosses. They've had a great chance there where the goalkeeper's made a save. Rodak's made a great save. So that's a match-winning save to a certain extent. And then bang, it's all over with the second goal and everyone's left.
Heartbreak elsewhere for Shrewsbury. 2 added goals from Ross Stewart and Luke O'Nien have won it for the Black Cats, I do believe, or they're still playing there. But we're not still playing here. And that's because the referee, Josh Smith, has put the final whistle to his lips. Fulham had to toil at times. They had to bring on their star players towards the end of this one just to make absolutely sure. But it is another winning return for Marco Silva to Hull City. His side, with a goal in each half, have put their name into the hat for a 4th round draw, going well in the Premier League. They're coming into a busy fixture schedule, but they've got the job done at Hull City here today. Goals from Levin Kazava in the first half and Dan James to make absolutely sure in added time. We leave you here at the MKM Stadium with a final score of Hull City 0, Fulham 2.